All right, folks, welcome to another week of Gridiron Queensland Live, brought to you by Live Streaming Brisbane. Kenny Andres to talk you through the action. First of the two double headers today, we have got a battle of 1v2, the two biggest, well, 1v3, I should say, my apologies. Stingray sitting there at 2, but two Sunbowl heavyweights between the Brisbane Rhinos and the Bayside Ravens. A bit of a welcome back to the Rhinos, who have been off the field for 3 weeks. The Ravens coming off a huge 73-point win against the Bears last week. Joining with me in colour for the next two games and looking beautifully under the weather is Mike Jones from the Griffith Uni Thunder, and obviously long-time Wildcat. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, good intro. I always love that. Really excited to see this game. I think it's going to be a big one. But I think both teams have been looking really good this season so far, so we'll see how they go. Big
enough to get you out of bed, mate. It certainly looks like you would have been comfortable to stay there. And you might hear a bit of flapping in coming through our microphones now. That is all the notes we have in front of us that are still, despite the comfort of the Winner Manly Juniors Leagues Club, is still reaching us. It is a windy day this afternoon as we're getting on picture now. You can see the Junior Rugby League. There's myself and Mike. Hello to all the folks at home. The picture probably doesn't capture how windy it really is here, but I can tell you it will play a factor today, particularly between the two passing games of these two teams who have been proven to be prevalent throughout the first 11 weeks of the season.
Definitely agree with that statement, Kenny. I think that it'd be great to see these first offensive series for both teams, see how they can throw the ball through the wind. When I was walking in, it was super windy, so it's going to be tough out there, but both of these quarterbacks have a lot of zip on those passes.
Coin toss is happening now. We've got the 7-0 Brisbane Rhinos taking on the 6-2 Bayside Ravens. Now, a little bit of news coming out of Ravens camp, and I'm still conferring on all the details of this, but I believe the Ravens might have been docked 2 points this past week due to personnel situations regarding playing Colts incorrectly or whatnot. I won't delve too much further into that until I get actual some confirmed details, but there is quite a possibility the Ravens might not be receiving the 2 points they earned against the Bears last week. That said, that shouldn't change where they stand on the ladder. But back to the Rhinos, coming off a bye last week and a bye 2 weeks before then, and then a controversial forfeit the week between from the reigning champions and the team of the gentleman sitting to my right here, the Griffith Uni Thunder. So that's 3 weeks without football with them. They were supposed to play you guys. It won't spend too long on them, Mike, but quick interpretation from the Griffith University camp.
Very quick interpretation would be that quite short notice for the change of venue, lack of players, and we just couldn't get enough guys down to the Gold Coast to play. I honestly thought it was the right thing to do to forfeit if we weren't going to be able to at least play the game or at least finish the game. So that's a short version.
Won't get you to defend any further, but obviously a lot of mixed opinions on that. The coin toss there, we've seen a lot of captains. One of those is wearing the number 4, and that's the return of linebacker Pete Brewer, who's made his way back to Brisbane after a couple of weeks on vacation, I believe. And, we thought that defense, which earned a shutout against Logan City last week, was pretty ferocious. With the addition of Pete Brewer back there, it's only going to be a little bit stronger.
I think when we played these guys a few weeks ago, they were very sharp out there. They played all their zone coverages really well. They set up some really nice blitzes. Gap control was almost perfect. And the score was reflected at the end of the game. So I think we only got 6 on them that week.
It's something they've certainly taken pride in, but they're going to have their hands full taking on effectively the number 1 offense in the league, which is the Brisbane Rhinos, led out there by quarterback Brandon Gwinner. We will see their offense first, and then he's got some pretty good people to be throwing to, one of which, Chaim James.
Always a good battle. I'm interested to see who's going to match up against Chaim James. I haven't seen too much of the Rhinos this season, so a little bit of scouting for me as well today.
And of course, Jeremiah Gates, a huge cog in their offense. He'll be raring to go. Their first football in 3 weeks. Ravens won the toss, elected to defer. Rhinos jumping on the field first on offense. Here we go. We've got first, the 7-0 undefeated Rhinos looking to stay that way here in the home of the Bayside Ravens, Kitchener Park, Wynnum. The Bayside Ravens returning to their namesake for the first time since 2013. Bessie driving it deep. We won't get a return here. This is well and truly out the back of the end zone. That kick clears the end zone, and it wasn't even high. That was a line drive. That doesn't tell you how the wind is.
Straight through.
I don't know what will.
Normally Bones kicks, I thought. So
Yeah, Bones usually kicks their field goals, but their kickoff starter
interesting.
is Mitch Bessie with the long legs of Mitchell Bessie.
Big boot on him.
But certainly they're a field goal kicker. Warwick Bones Russell. So here we go on offense. Gwinner, who was looking good before their 3-week little hiatus, is readying his offense. Give a couple chances. He played the Rhinos at least once this season, I believe. Gwinner,
Yeah.
even dual threat.
Yeah, I think great quarterback, really good talent. I think the Rhinos did a good job bringing in talent like that. It's important for the league. I'm interested to see how he's going to go with these wins today.
Well, they have no trouble relying on Gates if that's the case. He's in the backfield and he'll take the first carry. He's got plenty of space, bounces off the first tackle, and eventually Chris Clark will take him low, and Adnil Thompson will come over the top and a bit of support, but it's a strong start to the Rhinos on the first offensive drive.
Yeah, some really good contact there. I love to see that on the first play of the game. Doing really good.
You can just see on replay there. And now we've got wasting no time, barely a huddle. Gwinner's back on second down, second and short. About 3 yards to go. They'll go back to Gates. No, Gwinner will keep himself. It's awkward, but somewhat effective. He might have just squat. Yes, indeed, he did squirt over the first down marker. They've got their first down of the game. It took them 2 running plays to get it.
I think the intent here is to send a message that the Rhinos, they want to go down there and score, and they're going to keep doing that all day long. So they're going to test this defense by the looks of it. They're not going to take the foot off the pedal.
No huddle, of course. Looking to the sideline for the call. Wanting someone in motion, and we're going to see an illegal motion take place, I believe.
False start.
Was it a false start?
Yep. 75.
Oh, it was. Sorry, I was going to think it was going to be a wide receiver Newport motioning off the line, but false start it is.
Yeah, and penalties always really slow down. If you go and hurry up offense, that's going to kill you. You can't get any sort of
It's
rhythm.
a buzzkill, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Back into the pistol. Similar formation. Let's see if they run the exact same play. Jeremiah Gates friendly tosses the flag back to our white hat referee. Week 11. We got first down and 15. It'll be a speed option. He'll pitch it out to Gates late, and he's got plenty of traffic there in front of him, and it is Chris Clark. No surprises there. Big plays from the big playmaker for Bird Down.
Flying all over the field. He did a good job to get out there. There was a good block from 19, but Chris Clark just flies straight in there. Perfect tackle.
Down low. 3 fumble recoveries last week for Chris Clark, but Johnny on the spot as well as forcing one himself. Plenty of takeaways last week for this Ravens defense. Gwinner putting Newport in motion. Newport with a bit of an orbit motion, and he'll be used as a bit of a misdirection. Gwinner keeps it himself.
Looked like I thought he was going to give it to that orbit motion man coming around,
Yeah,
but
no, we
he
thought
must have seen something we didn't see.
And we barely have time for replays here with the speed of this offense, and there's the back end of it right there. A new man, Memphis, in the director's seat right now, doing the best he can, already outperforming many directors, I'm sure.
Doing a good job.
2 receivers out to the left, third and long, and Gwinner's going to have to throw his first pass of the game, throwing over the middle. Newport's open and behind the defense. He's beaten Nash, and this will be a touchdown for the Rhinos. But flags are down back at the line of scrimmage.
And if you watch the left tackle here, I think there was a hold all the way through. That's just my feelings towards it. Wide open, that really split the defense right there. We'll see what the call is, though.
I think he could be on the money here. And we can see, yep, I think he nailed it there, holding on the left tackle. We'll see if we can get a replay of that. But Newport,
Yeah, that's always disappointing. Left tackle, he's just held him in there. You can see him holding his left arm.
I think that was young Jordan Moko who's still a Colt playing up for the Rhinos there, getting caught up, and that rubs off what would have been an explosive start to the game for this Rhinos offense. Newport proving that he can get downfield. There's been more of an underneath sort of guy in the games I've seen so far. David Nash, he gets over the top of there, who'll be a bit of a swing of emotions for him, collecting a big intercept last week and taking it back to the house. Not the case this time, but he gets off with a bit of a sneaky penalty.
It's going 5 wide.
No running backs. James, near side wide receiver to your screen. He's ISO with Dan O'Day. O'Day's over the top, but they'll be looking for the middle again. And again, it's an interception. He was throwing to what I thought was an open receiver, and Chris Clark, his good form continues. Tip drill takes us away from the Brisbane Rhinos.
And I think when you can see Gwyneth throw, I couldn't see the zip on the ball there. It looked a little wobbly to me from where I'm sitting. So I think that wind is going to keep playing. I'll be interested to see how Stegman goes on this offensive series.
Stegman, who also loves that long ball. And I don't know if we get another look at that before the time the next offensive play comes across there, but he was looking for his man there, I think, called as Shanks, who's quite the deep threat for this offense, but the bounce hitting him now. So the Ravens now, Jared Stegman comes along with head coach turned unretired running back Darius Holiday-Miller. 5 rushing touchdowns in the first half last week, hoping to emulate anything close to that form. It'll be Stegman to pass on first down on the first play of the game. Warwick Russell, who scored 2 touchdowns last week, grabs the first catch of the game for the Bayside Ravens. It's a good gain, maybe about 6-7 yards.
Good one to start off with. And just based off that throw, it looked like a lot of velocity on that pass, which I like to see, being a former quarterback. So I like that. Good start. Good play call.
Gets the Mike Jones tick of approval there. That's a route they run really well. They hitch her out to Warwick Russell. We'll see more of that today. He remains at wide receiver at the receiver position. Darius Holiday-Miller in the backfield. He'll get his first carry, has to cut back immediately, finds nothing. In fact, loses a yard or 2 on that play. Good defense there, and I'm almost certain that was Akeem Allen.
Better in a move, though, from Holiday-Miller. He realises that he's not going to get yards going out to the left, so he just cuts straight back up, tries minimising the damage. So 1 yard lost, that's cool. Live to fight another day. 3rd and about 4. Still a good spot to be in.
Big defensive stop there from the Miami, Ohio product. 3rd down and 5. Ravens' first 3rd down conversion attempt this afternoon. Looking for a screen left side. That's where they'll throw. Fawcett's got it, but can he beat enough defenders? It looks like he can. He does, and more takes it out of bounds. That's close to a 10-yard gain there on 3rd down.
I personally feel with Holiday-Miller being back there, you allow Nigel Fawcett to go out into the slot. It just adds another dimension to the Ravens offense, as seen right there. Just a simple bubble screen, works his way up the sideline. They could do that all day.
Started the season a wide receiver, and with the return of Holiday-Miller to the running back position, allows him to move out to wide receiver where he's played most of his career.
Yeah, really good receiver. Every time I've played against him as a cornerback, he's always very physical, very competitive, always has a good yarn with the Jonesies.
Which is something I'm sure you welcome. First down, Stegman wants to throw again, looks underneath, has got Holiday-Miller on the outlet, and he'll try to shake a defender, but Sammy sideline picks him up, and that's about a 6-yard gain there on first down.
Nice play design. Holiday-Miller just straight up to the line of scrimmage and then out to the left. That's enough to do it. If Bassie's going down the sideline doing a 10-yard out, that opens it up for Holiday-Miller in the flat.
The last time these two teams played, all the way back week 4, feels like a lifetime ago now, when we were treated to one of the most exciting games of the season. 47-40, a shootout. Both defensive backfields struggling with the offensive onslaughts from both of these quarterbacks. The wind factor today, we'll see if history repeats. 2nd down, Stegman will keep it and sits the foot down, and there he goes looking like a gazelle in the open field. That's one of Stegman's longest runs of the season.
Just makes it look so easy, doesn't he? He just slices straight through the defense. Some of those big boys just can't get there. He's too much of an athlete. He's too quick. If you have a linebacker matched up on Stegman, there's no way he's going to be able to keep up with Stegman.
And just looking at that.
pretty good start for the Ravens, I think. It'd be interesting to see what the Rhinos do this next offensive series. They came out with a hurry up. Do they go back to that, or do they slow it down a little bit, make sure they finish their drives off, minimise penalties?
And work Russell, field goal kicker for the Ravens, set to try and put this one through. It is up and it hits the... No, it doesn't go straight through to the Wynnum Road side of the field, and the Ravens have the first lead of the game at 7-0.
Good stuff.
So you can get one more look of this Jared Stegman touchdown.
I don't think I saw the offensive line even block anyone on that play at all, which just makes it even that much more impressive.
And does that just, again, show the threat of Darius Holiday-Miller, the homework they would have done, especially coming off a strong game like he did last week?
Yeah, I think so. When you have the weapons like Holiday-Miller, Nigel Forsett, it really adds a few dimensions to the offense.
And a couple of punters here enjoying the Cox plate.
Yeah.
Right behind us here in the clubhouse with the Wynnum Manly Juniors.
We'll chuck on that quarter time, eh? Chuck on a few dollars.
And, well, if that last play was anything to go by, we might have a bit of a track meet here as well. And it's a low-line drive. Calder Shanks tries to field it. They will keep it live. And, nope, they will be told that it will be a touchback. Interesting. I thought, given that it was touched by a Rhinos player, and we'll get a
the
replay
field of
there.
play, the ball should have been live, in my opinion. I don't know the rules.
Well, I can only assume maybe Cheyenne James had a foot out of bounds at the back there when he fielded it.
Okay.
So that's the benefit of the doubt. That's the best view we're going to get, and that's what we can go with, Jonesy.
Yeah. I like it. I'm sold.
So the Rhinos now trailing at 7-0 through a pick on their last possession. Let's see how cautiously they try to go downfield in this next play. Keep in mind, it was a bit of a swing and roundabout for them. They thought they scored what they thought would be the game-winning touchdown, the game-opening touchdown, I should say.
Yep.
And then went back and threw a pick. Speed option here for Gwinner. Gwinner has no space, taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Adonil Thompson.
Good defense, perfect play call. Everyone was matched up perfectly for that play call. You can see 26 has got his man, number 92, Adonil Thompson.
Nice
I'm always
work,
bad
mate.
at names.
There we go, mate.
But he does a good job.
So a loss of 1 on first down, 2nd and 11 now. They'll give it to... No, the winner will keep it and will take it for another loss. This running game, after starting strong on their first run of the game, takes another loss. Jack Capewell, that time getting the TFL.
Really nice. So just off the left, they've left him unblocked. So basically in that situation, Brandon Gwinner either needs to give it or he needs to beat Capewell. And he didn't. So it's a wrong decision by the quarterback.
The defensive line last week on fire for the Ravens, racking up many sacks, many forced fumbles, and creating plenty of pressure
They're
on
looking good here.
Shane Prosser. They'll need to continue that against one of the best offensive lines in the league. 3rd and long. Gwinner looking for something underneath. They've got a screen set to Gates, but Gates has got plenty of work he has to do. Beats the first man, now comes up to Ebden. Tries to jump forward and will get awfully close. The Rhino sideline is signaling first down.
Good effort.
They might actually have it here. The Ravens don't
First
exactly...
down signal.
Yeah, the Ravens don't look confident here. He might have done it. Yes, he did. What an effort
Great effort.
by Jeremiah Gates. It's the second effort there to bounce off.
He's done a really good job to make that. When I first saw the pass, I thought there's no way he's going the distance. Proved me wrong.
And at the point of contact, that's 4 yards short of the first down.
Yeah.
He bounces his way all the way to the first down marker. Heck of an effort, Jeremiah Gates. 3 receivers out to the left. It's play action pass. Gwinner under pressure will throw this ball away, just getting it back to the line of scrimmage. Will live to throw another down.
Indecisive. When he drops back, he goes to his first read, and that's about it. So he looks to the left, and for a fraction of a second to number 2, and that's it. Either not enough time, or they just weren't there.
You see multiple screens utilized here from the Rhinos early. Keep in mind, screens are a big timing play. These guys haven't played in 3 weeks. Is that going to be tough to find their rhythm again for the first time in a good couple of weeks?
Oh, definitely. Anytime you don't play football for 3 weeks, you're always going to be a little bit rusty.
They'll go back to basics here. A strong run to Gates, and that'll make 3rd down a little more manageable.
Good run. That's what they needed. and that's a good place to be on third and about 5. You can still run from here, you can still pass, you can still do your screens, play action if you want to. The whole playbook is still open to use.
Minutes ticking down in the first quarter, probably only about the halfway point. Rhinos here on their second possession of the game. Gwynner, quick throw, finds Newport. Newport can't hold on to it. Incomplete.
That whole play just did. The quarterback didn't look decisive in his action, and the receiver didn't look like he wanted to catch the ball either. So
Newport would have had plenty of work to do there on that little smoke route.
Yeah.
2 Ravens defenders screaming down. And we're seeing a bit of a meeting here with the officials. I didn't see any flags on the field, but they could be lost amongst all those legs. But there it is. Thank you, Paul Mills, having our back. So this will be huge if it's against the Ravens, and it looks like it is. Penalty against the Ravens would buoy the Rhinos to a first down when they were ready to send their special teams unit on to punt it away. And this might be the little bit of a light that gets this drive on fire.
Might spark them here.
4 receivers out to the left now. Almost. And then they've got Cheyenne James, who'll be used to be faked with, and Gwynner now showing off his agility in the open field. 12 yards there and a first down.
Nice move, and really good play called. Motion in Cheyenne James. You set yourself a favourable matchup, the right tackle, really good block, right guard as well. I think it's perfect.
Well, I think this is a perfect time to segue the return of Brendan Oswin, who I've been really excited to see. Right tackle coming back to Brisbane from Germany's second division right now. Has had an absolute monster of a season there. No doubt he'll be seeing higher levels of competition when he returns. Gwynner, in the meantime, throwing downfield to an open Shanks. Shanks' speed, well, he's got plenty of it, still not enough on that particular play.
Definitely looked like he had some zip on that pass. Good loft, good flow, little far, and you have to forgive him. The wind, you can't really see how windy it is, but Kenny and myself right now, we can feel it blowing in, like everything's blowing around here. So it is going to be a really
Flags
difficult
down
day.
on the play. If it's another holding, that'll be interesting. That's 2 long plays. It is against the Rhinos and getting confirmation. So they'll be moved back, and that's 2 penalties now on both of the attempts they've tried to go deep, where, to be fair, they've had a man open.
That's right.
Wide open, in fact.
Wide open. So that's 2 touchdowns. If you're offensive coordinator, if you lose by 2 touchdowns, you're going to be pretty disappointed because they're blown opportunities, lack of execution, and lack of discipline.
Gwynner alone in the backfield. A couple of underneath routes. Wants to hit Gates on the short side of the field, but it's nowhere near him. And that'll make it a 2nd down and 20. Actually, it could be a little bit more. 2nd down and 22, I'd guesstimate.
Bit of work to do from here. I don't think there's many plays in the playbook, really. I mean, try to give yourself a manageable 3rd down. So I'd be aiming for the first stick, and then hopefully next stick, 3rd down.
2nd and long. Gwynner again on his lonesome. 3 receivers to the left, 2 out to the right. Deep drop from Gwynner, but now he's under pressure. Has to throw off his back foot. Finds Cheyenne James, who keeps his concentration despite being clocked by Clark.
Good catch. I think the wind did play a little bit in that. He's bobbled it a little bit. See if we get a replay here. So Gwynner does a nice job to find some time off the back foot, a little bobble. But that's a manageable 3rd down now.
If you want to call 3rd and double sticks manageable, we've got 3rd and 16.
More manageable than
Facts.
previously.
And this will be a designed rollout. They've got Newport going deep, and underneath is Shanks. Shanks has got room to move, and he's got that first down, so a manageable indeed.
Wide open. And he's been wide open the whole game. I'm not sure if it's just a mismatch or if he's just really good at finding the soft spots in the zones.
Well, they've used him on vertical patterns. This time they get him downfield, but then towards the sideline. The threat of those 2 unsuccessful throws downfield, despite being unsuccessful, did send a message that they are capable of stretching this field, and that's looks like it's opening some stuff in the intermediate.
Definitely. Because you're asking a linebacker to cover a receiver in that situation.
Change of personnel as we move on to this play. A couple tight ends in there, and they'll go short to Gates, who shakes the first defender. Not quite, in fact. Capewell underneath, and Tristan Ellis over the top.
Yeah, really good tackle from Tristan Ellis. Good job for the defense to get out there. Had a little bit of work to do for Ellis, but he gets to the outside. Make sure he doesn't get outside because he's away down the sidelines if he doesn't get there.
Rhinos trying to even this up. This drive is eating off an impressive amount of clock so far in the first quarter. Had a couple of penalties, but have worked their way back. A couple of impressive downfield plays. Cheyenne James Calder-Shanks on back-to-back plays. In motion now is Kent, I think, returning to the Rhinos. First time since 2017. It'll be used as a decoy for Gates, and Gates will grab a yard or two.
Well, good to see Kent back.
Josh Kent, it's the first time since 2017, the Sun Bowl.
Always a really good receiver. Very diverse, a lot of energy, really good hands. So I think the Rhinos have done a great job getting their guys back, recruiting everyone for the 2019 season.
Tore his ACL, which led him to missing the last 2 seasons, finally making his return now towards the back end of 2019. But yes, was very much a targeted receiver of, get this, Jared Stegman, last time he was at the Rhinos. Another give to Gates, and a good stutter step and a jump cut from Gates early in the play gets him going forward, and they're on a roll now, the Rhinos, well and truly deep in the red zone.
If you're the offensive coordinator, you just got to love to have a running back like this. First contact, he never stops, keeps those legs driving forward. Perfect. That's what you'd ask for every day in your running back.
We just saw in that replay Shelvin Shan take a dive at him, gets completely big air. I don't think when you see a back like Gates jump cut you're expecting that. I don't think you're expecting that at all.
Yeah.
You're bracing yourself, waiting for a whole bunch of meat to roll over the top of you, but when he pulls off an LT like juke, and you're laughing. And that drive did take quite a bit of time. In fact, it takes us all the way to the end of the first quarter. Moving into the second now, the Ravens are trying to desperately hold on to a 7-point lead as the Rhinos are knocking on the door, trying to tie the game up.
A lot of juniors and Colts playing up.
Yeah, for the Rhinos especially has been a theme through all the games we've talked about with the Rhinos. Calder-Shanks, obviously, a name we've called so far, was only just in their first, it would have been his first year of Colts this year, but has kind of skipped that and is playing both Colts and seniors now, and is not only there to make up the numbers, is one of their featured targets.
I think it's good. Blood them while they're young, get them into it earlier. I think always Colts and juniors stepping up to seniors is always a big ask. It's a big difference of game, a lot more physical, more players on the field.
And as you can see on the screen there, moving into the second quarter, but you're right, talking about the change, and we might be seeing like a whole new age of younger players coming up right now. For a little while, it was a constant talk about the graduation rate and how hard it was to move players from Colts to seniors, and giving them game time might be the only answer.
I think so. I agree. I think Booker, if any Colts or juniors who are playing up, a lot of respect to those guys. It's a big ask, and the only way to do it is to be out there playing footy.
And being in an environment, it's going to try. Here we go. Cheyenne James on the end around with plenty of space, and the first play in the second quarter is a touchdown, but late flags coming behind the line of scrimmage.
Disappointing. I think it might be on the left side. Someone's going a hook.
I think I might have seen a low block coming from the right side of the line.
Looks like it.
Ryan Glasson doesn't like the call. Illegal hands to the face, and it's on the defense, so this touchdown very well could stand.
Oh no.
It is. So that touchdown will stand, and we're an extra point away from another level ball game heading into the bulk of the second quarter.
It is getting very physical in the trenches there. You can see a lot of contact early and late. Which you love as a coach.
Trying to see who got...
It might be Thompson, I think it was.
Thompson. In any case, PAT to come. Kicking is the British import and Phil Newport. Kick is up, and kick is good. And ladies and gentlemen, we will play the second quarter as for now with a tied scoreboard.
This is going to be a good one. Took Rhinos a little bit longer, but I think offensively they're moving the ball well. Well at the moment. They've mixed it up with a few plays, a few screens, a few dump-off routes.
I think both offenses have done a good job mixing it up so far.
Yeah.
No one's going to the well too far. That being said, the Ravens have just had the one offensive drive, which led to a Jared Stegman touchdown.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what the Ravens do this series in terms of play calling. Always curious is how much you want Stegman to run in the offense and the chance of any sort of injury. Not that you'd want that, but the more he runs, more opportunity there is for situations like that to happen.
And just getting a report from the sideline, the wind is only picking up. Yeah, so it's not going to get any easier for these quarterbacks.
A lot of short hooks, quick slants, screens, swing routes, I think, and then the odd long bomb.
Getting unofficial calls of 27 kilometers an hour. So that looks like it's going to stay consistent throughout this evening.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Oh, the penalties, of course, being walked off from the penalty off the touchdown. Of course, for those who might be watching for the first time, when a penalty is applied to a touchdown there, because it wouldn't be so much of an advantage of getting it on the PAT, it is applied to the kickoff. So therefore, the personal foul, 15 yards gets marched off here, and now the Rhinos can almost guarantee that there won't be a return on this. I've always wondered whether this is much of an advantage either. What it does allow the Rhinos to do is take an opportunity to go for an onside kick if they wish without too much worry here, kicking from the halfway mark.
So windy, you can't even get the ball to stand up on the tee.
Well, the wind is blowing in the face of the Rhinos right now. You almost want to just put it up in the air and see what happens.
See how it goes, let it float. Oh, it goes down again.
They might have to get someone to hold this here.
Yep,
I think that's what Gates is going to do.
Smart move.
I don't know how much holding Gates has done in his career. This could very well be his first career hold.
I like it. Stat building.
Getting the right boot ready. Puts it up high in the air and well out of the end zone. No excitement here. Except good hustle from the ball boy out back there, who surely a keen observer, a father perhaps. But he does a good job preventing that footy going too far down Kitchener Park. Kitchener Park, home of the Wynnum Manly Juniors. Next year will be home of their BRL side. Wynnum Manly Juniors, as the BRL competition is split into back to a much larger comp once again.
Interesting.
The home side here, the Wynnum Manly side, won the BRL comp for the back-to-back BRL comps this year, calling Kitchener Park their home. First down and 10. Stegman with a rushing touchdown all the way from 30 yards out. Last drive, we'll give it to Holiday Miller. This drive on the draw, and he thought he might have had a better space, but it's a good tackle there by O'Neill. Shuts it down before it does too much damage.
Nice. Good defense.
The Jack Backer, as he's officially listed as. And behind him.
Liking the level of contact from both defenses. They're really flying in there. You got to be happy if you're one of their coaches right now. They're doing a good job out there.
About 2.5 yards on that last carry. We've got second and 7-ish. Stegman, 3 receivers out to the right, steps up in the pocket, has got a bit of time, delivers a blow, but it's great coverage on the play there. I think that might be Kappa. Breaking that play up is, Anthony Hearn, the young safety.
Really good coverage. So it was just a 5-yard in. Well, it looked like Warwick Russell almost stopped there, actually. So I don't think he was expecting that pass, or not expecting Stegman to throw the pass.
And now this will be a 3rd and long for the Ravens. Rhinos defense love a 3 and out here on the back of a good drive from their offense. Want nothing more than to give the ball back to their humming offense. Protection's good. No, it isn't. A sack back there by multiple Rhinos there. A good drive for this Rhinos defense. Jack Lowe, one of them there, as well as number 3, the other Jack Lowe, in fact. A good couple of Rhinos credited for that sack, and a great drive for this Rhinos defense.
The play call it looked like a very long developing passing concept. Nigel Forsett doing a flat, trying to work his way up the sideline. And if you don't have the time, you don't have the time. You got to take the sack or throw the ball to the sideline, basically.
Third and long. As a defense, you're pretty much gifted with the opportunity to blitz there that they did off the left edge.
Low snap.
First punt of the game. Nash gets it off. It's awkward and high and doesn't cover a whole lot of distance. Matter of fact, from the line of scrimmage, barely got 10.
I'm not sure if you can see on the replay here, but he's done a good job to get it off, but he's put it up. And the wind's actually blown it.
Looking like you on a Friday night at Stockies, mate. Just bouncer just saying no.
I'm above Stockies now. I go to classy establishments, Kenny.
I'm basing that off the one run-in we've had several years ago. Shout out to the Wolves precinct.
Yeah.
Allowing us all to feel a lot better than we are.
First year birthday last night, Howard Smith Wolves.
Quite possibly. Yeah, it's a great addition to Brisbane. There's been the Brisbane geography part of the broadcast today. First down for the Rhinos. Gwinner didn't have to wait long to get back on the field. Here comes Gates. He's got Capewell, but he takes him for a ride and grabs a couple of tough yards there on first down.
And that's what this game might turn into. This might turn into who can run the ball better, harder, and faster, basically.
Couple of
if these teams are going to be struggling to throw in this win, which it looks like at the moment.
Right side of the line, pulling across there to try and add a numbers advantage.
Rhinos calling a timeout.
And we're looking back at race 7 of Moonee Valley, race 9. And it looks like the favourite, Liz Grace So, has come away with a victory. For all those punters out there who for some reason are watching this instead of the Cox Plate, the favourite has come away with a victory. Being 250 at the end of the tote. Perfectly timed time out there.
Yeah, perfect.
And Damien Lane coming away with another victory on the back of the Japanese horse. Second down now after that timeout. The first of the half, I believe, for the Rhinos. I think who called that?
They got 2 back.
For the first time in this game, we have got a bit of a sniffer, if you'll call him that. And it will be a late give to Gates, who trucks forward for another solid gain. And we'll have a third and short coming up here, looking at approximately 3, maybe 4 yards.
Interesting. It didn't look like Tory Webb, 28, really understood his assignment at all. He was kind of moving around a bit, so I'm not sure if he's new this season.
No, I think he's one of the veterans, if anything, but it might just be a new position for him.
Yeah, fair call. At least he blocks someone eventually.
Last thing you want to be is the guy standing around with no one around him and your hands in the air. Third down conversion here for the Rhinos. Successful on their last attempt, and they'll trust Gates to get it done here. And he'll be marked a full yard short.
So it looked like a trap on that one. Was it Joshua Koo? I've just missed it, but he's come back across to pick up the defensive tackle, and with a few pullers going to the left there.
Josh Koo, another one of those players who've come through the junior ranks for the Rhinos. Fourth down now, they're keeping the punt unit on the sideline, and they'll go for it here with 4th and 2 and change. They'll give it to Gates. Gates will just go forward with a head of steam, and I think he's got it. Huge collision, and yes, he's got it by about half a yard.
I like that. He knew exactly what had to happen there. He knew exactly what had to happen there. I thought they'd have a play around with the cadence a bit, but he's done well.
Right over the top of Brewer, and then takes Capewell and Ed Neil Thompson for it as well. If shout out to Coach Hulwood, who I'm sure will be watching at some point this evening, or if he's not already. Sometimes he says some downs are just designed for oil tankers, and you kind of want to hope you have one for those certain downs. I think of who's the Western Australian product, Kieran Lander, is it?
Yep.
I might be thinking of the quarterback, Andy. Sorry, Nate Lansdale. There we go.
Oh,
Nate Lansdale. Lander.
I'm with you.
The big fella from Western Australia. It's always a tough assignment on 3rd and short. In this case, on 4th and short, Gates gets the job done. Now they've got a fresh set of downs, looking to take the lead here in the 2nd quarter. Play action pass, Cheyenne James has it and loses it. Uncharacteristic drop from James there.
Very uncharacteristic. So he's just worked his way out into the flat, straight out from the backfield. Just smart. It was a design screen, actually, just judging off the receivers there. So
bit of a sneaky usage of them there. Is obviously usually well in the slot or outside. This time they put him in almost a bit of an H-back position, and he sneaks out to the flat.
I think it's smart. Good play calling. You got to get your best weapons into favourable matchups.
Here he is in motion now on 2nd down. Goes to the right-hand side, but it'll be a backside run to Gates, who's been busy so far this afternoon. Loses his helmet on that play. Will have to come off for a play now. And it will be a key down as well. On 3rd down, Gates will have to sit out. Unless, of course, they opt to use the timeout.
Doesn't look like they're going to.
It's interesting to see who's listed as the 2nd running back. They've got a bunch of other guys listed as running back, but yet to really settle on a change-up back. And right now, coming in is number 5 in Oscar Santillan, who's listed as a wide receiver, and they might just go to an empty back set. No, it'll be Kent. Kent in his return, and I'm guessing that's Kent because we don't have another 25, and he certainly looks like Josh Kent. He'll be going into running back. He'll run a swing. But they'll go backside screen to Cheyenne James. This is a money play for them. And he's moving backwards. We'll have to go forward eventually, and this will be close. The Ravens might have done enough. No, you look at where he's been marked. He's got that by more than a yard. Good conversion by the Rhinos.
As a coach, you hate to see your receivers going sideways. But, he had to keep going that way to get down the field vertically eventually. So, worked out well. But, I was...
Hot in the mouth for a little bit.
I was watching the whole thing, just saying, go forward, go forward.
Well, every time they've looked even close to being stopped, they've got the job done on the key downs, just like every head coach wants to see. 1st down and 10 inside the red zone now. The wind has blown down our corner pylons. All 20 of them out there. Shanks in motion. And it'll be Gates back on the field and still tiring out defenders as this game wears on. Over the top of Capewell that time.
And which team do you think this suits more, this sort of game plan, Kenny? I think you could just let Gates go the whole game, just run him the whole game, and it'd probably be right. But you could say the same for the Ravens with Darius Holiday-Miller and Jarek Stegman.
So you've got 2 offenses well versed in dealing with these conditions. It's a pitch now to Shanks, who's got some speed, but not enough to outrace Clock to the sideline. Clock certainly a front runner for defensive MVP for the Ravens and very well possibly for the league.
But definitely, just look how quick Clark gets there. Good pursuit angle, and does actually stop him from getting the 1st down. So, was it 3rd and 1?
Third down has been a friendly one to them so far. Of course, they had to go to 4th down to convert another one this drive. Might have caught them offside, not the case. They're going to Cheyenne James on the fade, and they've got him. And the father, for a 2nd time, scores his 2nd touchdown this afternoon.
So it looked like they did catch him there. They just take the shot. Cheyenne James, the defensive back, who was...
Dan O'Day.
He just didn't get his head around, so it's pretty hard to defend if you can't see the football.
The penalty, of course, declined by the Rhinos. Penalty on the Ravens, a offside. And Cheyenne James, technically 2 receiving touchdowns. The first one was a little pop to him. So 2 touchdowns through the air, that time a little more traditionally as far as receivers go. And I did mention, he just posted on Facebook this morning, him and his his partner Maddie have welcomed their second baby Shiloh into the world. Congratulations, Cheyenne and his family. This kick is up, and this kick is successful. 14-7 the score now reads.
Good kick, good hold.
So we'll get another look at it here. That backside shoulder fade. It's getting harder and harder to defend as DB now, isn't it? Especially when you've got a guy with hands as strong as that.
So as a defensive back in those situations, you need to get your left hand or your left hip matched up on theirs, work your shoulder into them, forcing them to the sideline, and then you can look back to the ball. That's the only way you can do it, really.
Well, Cheyenne James got a bit of a height advantage on O'Day, standing at 6'3". I'd measure O'Day probably closer to 6 foot on a good day. Bit of a magician, if I remember. Dan O'Day, could be confusing him with someone else, but I think in the Ravens end of season little pub crawl, they had a bit of a rookie or a new player talent show, and his was a bit of a magic show, if memory serves correctly. Can't remember the anecdotes, but I think it might have been Dan O'Day.
See if this ball's going to fall off the tee. I reckon it will.
Wind might have calmed down just for a brief moment if they want to. Nope, here it comes again. Right now looking like it's... Nope, spoke too soon.
Need to get one of those old school orange ones, I reckon.
Grab the old sharpshooter.
Yeah.
A bit of mold, a bit of sand. You know, they have the place kicking assistants you can use, like the actual tee.
Oh, yeah.
As if they shouldn't be allowed on kickoffs. You know, get someone to pick it up immediately.
Yeah.
I know it's probably a health and safety issue, but...
We'll be right.
Australia, after all. Newport with a nice kick down towards the Wynnum Road end, and this will mimic the efforts of Bessie and be out on the full. Ravens now had to punt 3 and out last game, and last possession, I should say. And we'll be hoping to get away from that. Last time ended up being sacked on 3rd down and got stuffed for a run on 1st down. Any reason to change what they were doing on their first possession?
I've got no idea. I'd love to know.
Too early.
Yeah, I'd love to know. It's hard to tell what the game plan actually is. It looks like they're hitting a few short routes to the outside and mixing it up with runs and options up the middle. Stegman and Holiday Miller.
And give to Holiday Miller. Will be 3-on-3. He stiff arms the helmet off him, Holiday Miller, but doing so moves backward, and eventually Sam Matautia takes him down for a loss, but a strong stiff arm will look pretty on the highlight reels.
Really strong. Good job for the defensive end to try and contain him. You got to finish the play, yes, but Holiday Miller's a great athlete.
Jack Lowe. The other Jack Lowe, wearing jersey 43, actually was the first on the board for the Rhinos last time these two teams met, with a long 60-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. I'll be hoping that he might be able to mimic similar efforts. Short pass out to the right to Fawcett. Fawcett breaks the first tackle, looking for a block, gets it, stiff arm on Shanks, and that will get them back to a quite a reasonable 3rd down, picking up about 15 yards on that play.
Yeah. It's just a 5-yard stop route, and he just has to beat one man. If you're a coach, probably not going to, or if you're the player, you're not going to be too happy watching that next week in your film review. The tackling effort wasn't the best, but play's done. Next play, away you go. 3 by 1 to the left here. Warwick Russell to the right, isolated with Cheyenne James.
1/3 and short, and they'll have some sort of mix-up there. It's stuffed way behind the line, and now the Ravens will have a decision to make. Don't know if we'll be able to get another look at that and just...
Yeah, but really not sure what...
Was that a mishandled snap? It is Stegman on the bottom of that pile.
Yeah. I just thought there was a little confusion around the pitch or who he was reading. I'm not sure what's actually happened.
Make a note of that to ask him about him later. It'll be 4th down now, and the Ravens have decided they'll punt this away and trust their defense to keep this down. A better punt here from Nash. Nah, but it's an unfriendly bounce, but doing a good job. Braden Quinn stopping that ball from progressing too much further back. And this Rhinos offense looking strong right now. Will jump back on for their 4th possession.
Another low snap there from the long snapper. Special teams, I think I've mentioned it a few times in the booth with you, Kenny, special teams won't always win you games, but they can lose you games, just like that. One play changes the game on special teams. But I think generally what I've seen in GQ is special teams play and execution has definitely lifted over the last few years.
Yeah, certainly. And a lot more of the starters wanting to get on special teams.
Yeah. Yeah, special teams isn't just the benchies who get on anymore, it's the best 11.
Incomplete pass there, a short pass to Gates.
Yep.
Ellis on the coverage. So,
just a flat route, good zip. Even if he did catch it, I don't think he had too much room to work with there.
4th possession of the game so far. The last 3 possessions started off with the intercept, and since then have gone touchdown.
Yeah.
Spread formation now. Gwinner with a deep drop, but it's to set up the screen, and it would have been looking good, but I don't know if he lost it in the sun there, but Gates couldn't bring it in, and that'll set up 3rd and long.
Really nice pass from Gwinner, actually, just lofts it over, very soft. Tough one to drop, I imagine, but he did it somehow. Right play call for the right situation, because if he did catch it, he was first down, probably another 10, 20 yards on that one.
As Coach Booker has taken over the offensive play calling this year solely, so here we are on 3rd down. It'll be a rollout to Gwinner, who sets his feet and goes downfield. Behind the coverage was Newport, but a couple too many wheat beaks on that throw. That is twice now Newport's managed to get behind the defensive backfield.
So it was another sprint out. He plants it. Yeah, it's really hard to tell in the replay there, but the ball's actually coming out sideways. So I think that's actually played around with the projection of where he's aiming. Plus, you include the wind.
Flag on the play here. I'm trying to figure out which team was clapping.
It's like the punt units coming out for the Rhinos.
It is the Rhinos who are sending the team out, which would lead me to believe that it was on the Rhinos and the Ravens declined. I say Wheatbeaks on their throw, perhaps maybe Weetabix might be a little more accurate with Phil Newport being the target with England and their weird round Weetabix. Don't at me.
Yeah,
They're weird. They're weird. Any British people can come at me. I'll take our rectangle Wheatbix any day. 4th down here, punting situation for Newport, speak of the devil. And this one is shanked out on the outside of the boot. He didn't have his Weetabix, but the Rhinos will let it roll. Ends up being a half-decent one, though.
Worked out good. We got player down. Looks like Adam Erickson down center field. A little bit of late contact, potentially. He's going to have a chat with someone. Not anymore.
No, not quite. This ball will be downed, I think, on the 15. The yard markers have been blown down.
Alright, so the ball's back in the Ravens' hands. They have to do something here, you imagine.
Well, I've got to give Newport credit there. It was a shanked punt, but he's managed to pull it inside the 20, so he's given the Ravens most of the field to have to work here. Stegman, he's back. Holiday Mill is also back, and doesn't find a whole lot of space there. Good work by the Rhinos defense.
Staying true to the read option. Ideally, you hope that they stay true to it the whole game, because I imagine a lot of their plays are set off based around the read option. They just leave it alone, pack her up, start front deep, really changes the game plan. Big flow in effect.
Spread formation. This is 2nd and 6, maybe 2nd and 7. Bessie coming into the game for the first time today. It's a good grab and might have even moved the chains. Yes, it did. Picked up about 8 yards on that catch.
Great pass. Bessie just goes down the sideline, 10-yard. Oh no, looks like a little slant. Just finds space. Stegman finds him with Forsett clearing out in the slot.
A lot of long striders in this Ravens receiving corps.
Oh, yeah. I feel slow every time I'm next to Bessie. His legs just...
Covers about 14 steps every pace. First down and 10. A long-time deep threat for Jared Stegman in the Browns Plains days, and this is an awkward handoff. Holiday Miller lost his footing and tried to recover, but ran straight into the back of one of his blockers.
Matt Bailey out there on offensive line?
Yeah, he's made the move to left tackle. Well, it was right tackle. It appears that he's moved to left tackle now. But yeah, moved from linebacker, where I thought he was killing it for the last couple of seasons and did what he had to do for the team.
Yeah, he always did. He was a great linebacker, so there must be a need there at offensive line for the Ravens right now.
Upfield, Stegman wants to pitch. Will pull it back eventually. Would have loved to sort of rugby league dish that off, but I don't think his receiver was exactly open to it.
Yeah.
You can just see here, look at the right hand. It was Holiday Miller as well.
Sam Medaudio comes flying in, trying to take Stegman's head off.
Dare I say it, if he gets that pitch off, if Holiday Miller's about a half yard back, that's looking like Australia down the short side and the Fox grabbing the ball.
Agree.
Shout out to Australia winning the test last night against New Zealand. Fox could not score 2 tries though. They certainly did not have a bet on that. Disappointed. Third down. Third down now. Both teams grabbing Huddle. I think there must have been a timeout here for both of these teams to be huddled as long as they have.
Yeah.
Hard time keeping track of the timeouts, unfortunately, because we are a little further away, but it was a timeout called by the Ravens. I'm getting instructed now.
Third and about 6 or 7.
Oh, I'm just getting on that. Stegman called it as he was tackled there. That's why we missed that one. But speaking of Stegman, here he is again, empty set. 3 receivers out to the open side. James and Bessie on the near side. He erases Bessie. Now they'll go downfield to Fawcett and had well shaded by the defender there. Would have to try to catch it around him. Coverage on the play there.
It was a wobbly pass. It's come out of the hands.
Smolarski
floating around
on the coverage.
There's not much you can do for Fawcett in that situation. The defensive back has every right to keep running with the ball, which he was doing. Fawcett just can't make a play in that situation.
And they've sent out the punting unit again. So for the third time in a row, the Ravens punt this ball away to the Rhinos.
See if this long snap gets up a bit. Yeah.
Much better this time. Nash gets it up. Again, not a whole lot of length. This will land right in front of us, and that'll be on the Rhinos 40, it looks like. I've lost vision on there. You guys might have seen that a bit more than me, but it looks like that will safely be in the hands of the Rhinos.
Triumph James. Don't really think there was any need for this, but if you're a special teams coordinator, you might be having a chat to Triumph after this.
Stupid question, but you probably know more than me, Jonesy. Ball bounces like that, you can't fair catch it, can you? Once the ball hits the turf, you've got to wear that.
You ever just let it bounce out? Everyone starts yelling poison. Everyone disappears. You
know, would have been an amazing. Or actually, no, probably would be an illegal call there. I imagine you calling a fair catch, everyone leaves it alone, and then you run it off for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering what the situation would have been there. You've seen a lot of different cases where people will call poison, which obviously has no legal ramifications, and then they take it off for a touchdown. But calling a fair catch in a situation where you can't actually call a fair catch, I think that constitutes a penalty.
What if you called a fair catch, let it bounce, and then recovered it and then returned it? Can you do that?
If one of these returners wants to do us a favour and let us find out, as this pass has been thrown out of bounds almost.
That's actually a good idea. I might do that next week.
There you go.
Thanks for that. We'll try bend a few of the rules.
I'll take my check in the mail. And that pass I thought was being thrown out of bounds was actually a jump ball downfield.
Oh, that came out wobbly too. If you see the projection, it's a little hard to tell in the footage. It comes out almost, I don't know, that'd be like 75 degrees upwards. That you can't get velocity on a throw if the ball's like that.
Second down now. And throwing backside the screen has been a featured part of their play calling that time. Loses them A yard, maybe only half a yard.
It really does change your game if you don't have a long. If you can't throw long, the defense definitely knows. Okay, medium to short range, or run play, or screens, right? So everyone's playing a lot more aggressive, which you can kind of see here. All the Ravens are getting numbers to the ball.
As we get back to live action now, another deep drop, climbing the pocket is Gwinner, wants to go downfield, has got one-on-one with James, and James makes a valiant effort. Just a little out of his range. O'Day on the coverage. Would have been there to stop the touchdown, but not the catch.
Nice recovery from O'Day as well. James had good 5 yards on him. Maybe a little underthrown and a little to the outside there from Gwinner. But O'Day's done a good job there.
He's done a good job not hitting him before he catches. I think it's easy when you could see him. He had eyes just for the receiver there. How easy is it to give away a pass interference in that particular situation? 4th down. And Newport's back to punt this away, so teams trading punts now.
Pressure coming from the left by the looks of it.
No, it's a fake punt. They'll throw this, and it'll be completed. Running it back for the Rhinos, and he's still going, taking down inside the 20, but that is Tyson Snag, the young rookie, grabbing the ball on the fake punt. And Newport, both punters have been having a bit of trouble putting it in the air. This time he does it with his arm, and he earns them a fresh set of downs.
Perfect play call, isn't it, Kenny? There was 3 receivers wide open. Obviously, the Ravens haven't seen anything like that in the film. So, nice job to the special teams coordinator, or Booker, whoever called that play.
All the other teams putting that in their notebook right now. Gwinner wastes no time. They get straight back on offense. Hits his man. It's Kent. Kent shakes the first tackle, trying to get a touchdown in his return to the Rhinos. Will have to wait a down or two.
Looks like someone got a good shot on Gwinner at the end of this play.
And there might have been Jack Capewell coming off the right edge there, but a great catch to Kent.
Great catch by Kent.
And
Keeps working his way up. It just looked like a sort of...
Oh, wait a minute. Was that halftime? So I just saw the ball got raised. I can see now why they were rushing. I thought the Rhinos had a bit more of a timeout, and I don't know if Booker was aware of that, because now he's out front having a bit of a chat, but he doesn't seem too perturbed by it. So obviously they did know there was a bit of time on the clock. So that fake punt doesn't turn into extra points. They run out of time there, but it does leave us with a halftime score of the visiting Rhinos currently leading the Ravens 14-7, 2 touchdowns to 7, 2 James second quarter touchdowns, giving them the 14-point score with the 1 touchdown early in the first quarter. Jared Stegman representing the Ravens. I'm Kenny Andres, Mike Jones with me. My man Memphis on directing, and Paul Mills handling all our filming. Livestream Brisbane will be back. We'll have a short little break for halftime, and we'll be back here to present you to the second half, and of course the women's game coming up at 6:30.
Paul Mills has just given us a go-ahead. We're kicking back off. Kenny's just gone to get a drink. Interesting first half, I thought. The Ravens started off pretty good, and then they just fizzled. So really, you'd like to see them come out this offensive series, put something together again, and turn this game into a grinder. Still really windy here, actually. As Kenny mentioned before, it's like 24 kilometres an hour. It's good kickoff. Bessie on the return. Straight up the middle. He's working his way down the sideline. Good return. I like that.
Yes, as we see the third quarter, I should say. Take that, Kenny Andres, Mike Jones, Memphis Center Party, and Paul Mills from live streaming Brisbane, running you through the second half of game number 1 in this doubleheader, coming at you from Kitchener Park here on the Bayside of Brisbane. Stegman is back. They're chasing 7 points, the Bayside Ravens. Stegman under rushing touchdown as the lone scorer of the game for the Ravens. Here he is running again. Has to run for his life, turns it upfield and grabs a good 6 yards there in the first play of the second half.
It's a good 6. It's done pretty good to get 5-6 there. So see what happens. It's about 2nd and 5, which is pretty good. I think a lot of room to play here if you're an offensive coordinator. I think it's worth getting 4 set, a bit more involved with some of those bubbles. Looks like the space is there for him to work with. And just a quick run up the middle for Holiday Miller.
That'll set them up with a 3rd and short. They finished their possessions with 2 punts on the back end of the 2nd quarter.
Yeah.
The Bayside Ravens, hoping they can get more than, well, it won't be a 3 and out, but it'll be awfully close to it here if they get turned down here. Holiday Miller lined up to the right of Stegman. 3 wide receivers, 2 receivers and a tight end out to the right.
Sending pressure.
Short throw, and that will be an incomplete pass here. This Rhinos defense seemingly growing in stature. As we take a look at, you can see the few flags we have out here.
Hutchies, mates.
Shout out to Hutchies and mates and
CFMEU.
But more importantly, it shows you how much this breeze is blowing down here on the Bayside suburbs of Brisbane. And technically, it's Redlands, I suppose. But and here, despite having the wind with the back on their back here, if they chose to punt, they're going to stay in and they're going to go for a ball just 2 yards short of halfway. They might have got him offside there. This could be a free play. Stegman's running for his life and turns it upfield, tries to make something more happen, and actually hits Bessie, so they'll get that and more. Good heads-up play there from the Australian quarterback, Stegman.
So firstly, it's a free play anyway. They've caught him offsides. Stegman's just done a great job. Perfect pass. Bessie's in the right spot. Good hands.
And that's Stegman rolling out to his offside there.
As a quarterback, I always found it was actually, you could get more power in throws going to your left because you actually have to twist your hips to reorient the throw.
Whereas when you're rolling out to your strong side, there is the potential of being lazy and throwing.
Yeah, I think there's more potential, well, for me anyway, as a quarterback, I wasn't amazing. But there was more mechanical failures when I was going to my strong side in comparison to the reverse side.
It takes longer, but obviously the end product is generally going to be a bit stronger.
Yeah.
14-7, a big play there for the Ravens, utilizing a free play to get downfield, and a hell of a catch there by Mitch Bessie, who was kept to just the 2 catches in the first half by my count.
Yep.
Keep it alive on 4th and down. Now on 3rd down, they go back to number 3, Holiday Miller. Picks up about 5 yards on 1st down.
Good blocking up front as well. I think I saw the center and the left guard with a double team. Tackle just trying to pinch or hook the defensive end. So even though he didn't, that's still enough time for Darius Holiday Miller to get to the outside, get the yards he needs to put them into a 2nd and short position.
Doesn't need much.
No, he's really good at finding those creases, really good at hip mobility, and he's quick to make decisions.
2nd and 2. Drop back here from Stegman, throws it underneath to Bessie, clearly trying to get Bessie more involved. We might have a personal foul, roughing the passer at the end of the play here.
Well, it comes around from the left side, I think.
He gets sandwiched there between 2 of the bigger hitters in the team, Hakeem Allen and Jack Lowe.
It looked pretty close to me, but that's a 50-50 call for the referee in my opinion.
Wouldn't be upset if they pick up this flag and wave it.
Yeah, it would. I
Won't be the case though.
Yeah.
And you know the game is turning now. You can't touch them quarterbacks.
Yeah, basically, if it's, I don't even know. As a defensive player now, I just don't even go near the quarterback.
And you can hear us race town of Mooney Valley out the back there. Going in the final.
Get a win, Kenny?
I wouldn't know. It certainly wouldn't be betting. As we get back to the action ahead of us, though, in the red zone are the Ravens. 14-7, trying to level the score here in their first possession of the second half. And trying to score again on that little QB keeper on the read option.
It's just a little read option. They have the slot receivers doing their little bubble routes. I feel like they're trying to set that up a bit later in the game. But primarily they're relying on Holiday, Miller and Stegman to do the hard yards up the middle.
As we come across to second down and goal now. Forced out in the slot. Quinn outside him. He's going to go high. Is that Quinn the target? No, it's Liam Edwards, my apologies. Hasn't been targeted today so far. In fact, this drive might be the first time I've seen him on the field so far this afternoon.
Yeah, it was just almost looked like a whip route. He's put his foot in and then worked his way to the outside.
First time I saw a lot of those plays being run for the Ravens was back under the tutelage of Hollywood Roby. He would always tell his receivers to pretend like they're taking a photo. And set up, take a photo, run back outside.
Ooh, I like that one.
There we go. Trying to put it into action there. Wasn't successful. Third down and goal. Ball's approximately at the 4. Now Warwick Russell, the slot, on the line. He's looking for him. Stegman climbing, spinning to the right, and tried to throw this or thread the needle there to either Liam Edwards or force it. Not quite sure. Incomplete. They might have to consider the field goal unit now.
It's a weird play. So they had Warwick Russell working into the flat and then up. It didn't look like he ever felt like he was getting the ball. So you've got the two slants coming across from the outside. And then Stegman working his way up through the pocket. Referees having a chat with John Booker. Not really sure what that
Haven't seen that signal before.
looked like. A
Fourth down, no field goal here. They'll stay on the field and whistles will be
Timeout.
Timeout taken here by the Rhinos. Maybe a strategic one there. That certainly looked like a passing play. And if we saw it, then I'm certainly sure the Rhino sideline saw it. Let's see if they go back to it.
You can see Booker on the sideline pointing at the down counter for a reason. Not sure if there was a mistake there.
Now that should be, is that, we saw how many fingers are caught up there. I think that might be the first timeout used by the Rhinos this half.
Stegman coming off, so the looks like a field
Looks
goal.
like they will go for the field goal.
So Booker was right, he was onto it. Did they get that timeout back though?
Russell obviously nailed the one PAT. They'll go for a fake. That's the second special teams fake. Speed option to Warwick Russell. Can he get to the pylon? I don't think he can. The Rhinos sideline is celebrating. They might have held on to their lead here.
Gutsy, I like it. Right play call.
Yeah, the creativity was there, but the athleticism was there to make up the lost speed by our mystery man number 1, who's not on the team list. And that will give the Rhinos possession and back, a turnover on downs here after driving it down into the red zone.
And I think that's the difference between the top tier teams and the lower tier teams in any division or any league, is teams that practice special teams. It just adds another dimension to the game, as seen from the fake punt from the Rhinos and the fake field goal from the Ravens.
Turnover and downs here on their first possession. Rhinos now from their own goal line. They give it to their workhorse and Gates. And Gates drives forward. Very rarely goes down at first contact.
Yeah, really good. They're going to grind this out. Take a few shots, I imagine. Because if they're running the ball effectively, so it always opens you up for play action. Have a go deep, see how you go. It's one play.
Here's the thing, Gwynner might actually prefer throwing deep as we look at a keeper here where he'll get shut down on. Because the pass plays he struggled with the wind in the first half was constant overthrows. He might actually prefer throwing into the wind
I agree.
Which might take off, well, it just might be easy for him to calculate because he was missing on some wide open deep throws with the wind behind him. He might actually have an easier time throwing into the wind.
Well, I wonder, I mean, you've had a half, you've kind of, like, the conditions are a little similar still. I don't think it's picked up too much more.
Right now,
so he's got an idea of what the wind's doing to the football.
All right, and I think James Calishaw thought he was going for all money there. Turns out it was a false start.
Thought it was a sunball all over again.
He thought he might have wrapped up the key player of the game against the Gridiron University Thunder. As we think back into that play, and the man to my right has a slight smirk happening as I talk about that play. False start on James Calishaw there. GQ Treasurer trying to argue his case, suggesting that he was drawn offside. Won't be the situation. He is now taken off the field. Shanks back on the field. Yes.
Nothing worse than that. Make a mistake, go straight to the sideline, have a little think about it. I'm definitely one of those players, and a coach who'd like to let someone work through their mistakes. But, I think people at different spectrums in terms of coaching about if you just straight up take them off or let them work through it. So.
Gates moves into the left slot. Gwynn is on his own, rolls out to the left. Throws for Shanks. That play worked for them in the first half. Shanks couldn't quite bring it in on this occasion. Incomplete. And that might be a punting situation here for the Rhinos.
So they have done this sprint out a few times. And he's just undercooked it a little bit.
It was almost picture perfect there. Would have landed right in bounds. Shanks maybe, well, it's depending on whether it was underthrown or whether Shanks went a yard too deep. Not sure. We'll never know.
I think Thompson got a late shot on the quarterback as well, so...
No flag on the play.
Lucky
so
not to get
if
caught
that's
up
the
on that,
case...
because I think that was actually worse than what
the
we saw
Stegman
before.
one earlier, yes, right. Fourth down. And the Ravens defense has done well to keep them in their own side of the field. And this is another fake. Newport to throw from the punter position for the second time today from their own 4.
Stupid.
I mean, look, I've seen them risk it in their own half before.
Yeah.
I think it was Gerard Fitzpatrick who called me. It was actually against the Ravens where they did it around their own 30, and we sort of balked at the... We'll call it the...
It's a false start. They got a Ravens smartly decline it. That's stupid.
I was in disbelief the first time they did it against the Ravens from approximately their own 30.
Yeah.
I've got another look of disbelief on my face seeing them do it from their own 4. I guess in their defense, if there's any time a team wouldn't do it, you'd think it'd be on your own 4, so maybe it's money. But
I'm going to straight up say you've just given up 7 points in a 14-7 game.
Well, trying to take a positive swing on this, that's how much confidence Coach Booker has in his defense right now.
Yeah, that's good. If it bites him in the ass later, he's going to get to the...
You'll have to answer that question.
Yeah. I think whoever called that play, it definitely had guts, but they have to live and be accountable for that play call.
Fortunately, the only press you'd have to deal with is me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get around to asking him.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a question mark we'll all have. Darius Holiday-Miller, jump cut to the left-hand side, and screaming downfield is Terry O'Neill. Hakeem Allen with the early pressure as well.
I think if you're the Ravens here, you got to get creative. I'm not sure if it's like a setup play off the read option or a fake bubble play, which I've seen them run a few times this season. But I don't think the stock standard plays are going to keep working. They need to diversify a little bit in how they approach this.
Second down and goal. Rhinos defense wins round 1 on this goal line situation. A rollout play here for Stegman, looking for Warwick Russell. Had him, but I think there might have been a late hand on the play. A great job there done by the young safety. Yes, Anthony Hearn.
Great play. As a defensive back, I love it. Perfect. A really good recovery to actually get in the right position to deflect the ball. So when I saw the play developing, I actually thought it was a touchdown. So.
Yeah, I thought for sure. And that corner there is, in particular, that right-hand corner is exactly where Warwick Russell loves to score his touchdowns.
He's so great at finding those soft spots in the defense as well. He just one of those. Not all receivers have that skill.
Yeah, the innate ability.
Yeah.
3rd and goal. Drop here looking for the corner. And intercepted by the Rhinos. There we go, and that's just justifies the crazy decision Coach Booker or whoever the special teams coordinator is to call a fake punt from their own 4 because they had their faith in their defense, and it is our mystery man number 1. Now I might have to go look through some of my Colts team list there because he's certainly not on the standard one.
It's paid off in the end. It was just a smash concept, so you have a hitch on the outside, a corner from the inside. If we could get a replay of that, I don't think the quarterback's actually read what the defense has done.
And we'll try to sneak one more in here before the next play.
So Bessie's on the outside. See if we can see it real quick. It is just a smash concept in a double coverage, so I think Bessie, just looking at that, it's hard to see, but I think Bessie would have been probably the better option there on the outside.
And well, there's a bunch of players listed as number 1 on the official GQ playlist. The number 1's the automatic assigned number to any player that hasn't been given a number. So still can't comfortably give credit to whoever picked it off there, but a job well done to whoever's playing defensive back on that last play. And we just saw there while we're on replay, it was Gates doing what Gates does, just trucking forward, making these late down situations a little bit easier for his quarterback.
I think the Ravens might be shooting themselves for being in that field position and
not capitalizing,
not executing.
Another run here for Gates.
That didn't look enjoyable.
It looked awkward, that play, for some reason, didn't it?
Did just sort of see. Oh.
It was snapped a bit earlier. No one moved early, to be fair, but I don't think Winner was expecting it.
Yeah, either do I. I think they were trying to get the receiver to move up to the line of scrimmage.
And that's why there's a penalty on the play.
Yep. Onto it.
So clearly the center thought he had the signal to snap when he was ready. Quarterback was trying to make some adjustments, and this will cost him 5 for the illegal formation, I would imagine. And now what was 2nd and short turns into 2nd and 7.
Chime James on the bottom of the screen. You can't see him, just bottom right hand corner.
There you are, all 5 receivers.
Looks like that's a favourable matchup if I'm a quarterback.
When it comes back to that direction, O'Day's all over him, and now Gwynner's juking and jinking. Eventually will take it over the sideline. Picks up a couple of yards though to salvage that. Booker sending in looks of disbelief, wondering what went on in that play.
Well, if you're a quarterback and you know that everyone's going to the right, in your brain you need to know that you can't go to the left unless you have an option to go there. If you go to the left, you need to run the ball. So, looked a little indecisive to me, and maybe it's milliseconds that you're talking about here. So, in that millisecond, you make the wrong decision, go in the wrong direction. 3rd
and 2nd, Cheyenne James one-on-one. No, he's double covered now, and underneath he was open. I think that was Newport. Yes, it was.
You got to hit those.
Newport been targeted a number of times today. Hasn't quite been able to get that explosive play he might be looking for.
To me, it just doesn't look like he's confident right now in actually hitting the passes. Like, that's a wide open player about 15 yards from himself. That's a throw that every quarterback in this league needs to make, basically. So I'm not sure how Booker's going to work his way around that, or if they're just going to try run this game, because that seems to be working more effectively for them at the moment.
Ravens showing blitz, and Newport punts this ball away, evading the pressure, and Chris Clark has got a bit of open space. This could be dangerous, but the stop troops are there now, and they take him down around the Ravens 46.
Good punt. Surprised there was no fakes again. Coverage did a nice job. They forced him to the outside, and there was no opportunity for Chris Clark to do anything really. So.
Yeah, 1st down now for the Ravens. Intercept on their last possession, a turnover on downs after the fake field goal.
2-by-2 formation.
And here we go, Warwick Russell. A nice little hitch route on the outside. Should be enough for a first.
Just mirrored the whole concept, so it was just 4 hooks, every receiver about 5-6 deep. Stegman just gets to choose the matchup he wants in that situation.
They move the chains with that catch. And Fawcett in the left slot, Liam Edwards in the right, and outside of him, the man who just made the last catch, Warwick Russell. Blitz here by the Rhinos, picked up nicely by the Ravens. They get it out to Fawcett, who jukes past the first defender and picks up about 9 yards.
Yeah, I think that's good. Just get Fawcett into space. He's a playmaker. That should be an easy throw. I'm not down on the field, so I don't really know how hard it is to throw in this wind. It does look hard, but that's a safe throw to get a playmaker into space, get a few yards.
Sticking with this underneath. He's underneath throws. 3rd down now. Ravens looking to convert. Disappointment in the last 2 drives. They go to the outside and it's overthrown. Intended to Russell. Coverage there by Hearn. And this, well,
just floated a bit.
Inside Rhinos territory.
That's a tricky throw when you're talking about wind. That's a 5-10 yard out route. That's one of the hardest throws, the longest throws almost to make, and you're doing it with wind. Stegman traditionally has always been good at those quick, short, sharp routes. I haven't seen too many slants from the Ravens.
Yeah, you're right,
really
actually. Not a whole lot of
precision, sort of like in-breaking routes. It's been a lot of hooks, out routes, and just a few deep shots, and a little bit of luck, basically.
3rd down.
So we got 3rd down, 3.
No scores yet here in the 3rd quarter, probably towards the middle period of it.
Seen too many crossing routes, but it looks like they've got 2 tight receivers on the left here. I think they might be trying to get them across the field.
Stegman drops
like
back, short drop, hits Fawcett on that crossing route, and he's got plenty of room. Will truck forward, use the left hand to stiff arm his way forward for more yardage, and ends up picking up a huge gain through the air. Yeah. Nigel Fawcett picking up plenty of rack.
Really good play call. And basically exactly what we said a few plays ago. They haven't run many crossing routes or quick slants. They pull it off because, again, you're asking a linebacker to cover one of the quickest guys on the field. They can't do it. They just can't do it unless they pass off to the next player in the zone, which is always a challenge for the best defenses in the league.
Well, haven't seen a whole lot of those crossing routes. Let's see if they've made the adjustment now into the red zone. Hasn't been kind to them since the 1st quarter, the Ravens. Play action pass and open Fawcett. They go back to him there against Shanks. And now the 2 youngsters combined to take him down. The 2 Colt players and Shanks and Ahern.
Yeah, that's a good matchup. I think, I saw Fawcett pointing out the man he thought was blitzing, so he definitely saw something on. And that quarterback and receiver have that connection. I think you can get quicker releases, get the ball to your receiver quicker. They have more time to make their moves to get into the end zone, basically.
We've got a tight end to the left-hand side of the line. And Holiday Miller will keep it, shake out of the first tackle, and find himself into the end zone there. Was hit early and did plenty of work to get over the end zone.
Really good effort.
Get over the goal line, I should say.
Good effort. It looked like the Ravens won in the trench there. A little bit of gap control loss from the Rhinos. So when you have a running back like Holiday Miller, he's going to do that to you. Good snap, good hold.
Kick up is good, and now,
Great
ladies and
kick.
gentlemen, middle of the 3rd quarter. We've got ourselves a tied ball game once again, courtesy of Darius Holiday Miller from 4 yards.
Done well, a lot of extra contact in there. I imagine there's a lot of good chat down in the trenches. The boys are all looking like they're having a good time out there.
Mike, talk me through it. Last 2 trips to the end zone, they had an intercept and a turnover of downs. Of course, the intercept there came after a pretty quick possession there. How hard is it to come back to the end zone a 3rd time and actually get the execution mindset that you need to get the job done?
Really difficult. I think it takes a team which is very resilient, a team that I think can forget, basically. And it is football. Like every single football player, every single coach should be able to forget the previous play. Of course, you're always accountable for your decisions, but you need to move on and execute the next play. So, to answer the question, yes, very hard. And I am impressed that they went down there. It was a really good drive. They mixed it up, a bit of diversity. They added a few plays we haven't seen so far in the game. So I think we'll keep seeing that sort of stuff as this game develops.
Rhinos now. Another deep kick by the Ravens there. Won't see a whole lot of returned footballs in this game, you see. And as we pan over to the right there, we see the visiting Griffith University Thunder women's side, the league-leading Griffith University women's side. And actually on screen there, and we'll mention in the women's broadcast there, that was Laura Newell, who's celebrating a birthday today, I believe. So our team will be looking to deliver a happy birthday here with a victory over the one side that has been able to topple them this season so far, the Bayside Ravens.
It'll be a good game, I think. So the Thunder have been really good. The girls have, from what I've seen, have been playing really well. Well coached, executing. So I'm keen to see that game.
Yeah, 7-1. To a league-leading 7-1, number 1 ranked team. This afternoon, coming to you at 6 o'clock. Chaim James in motion now, bit of a funky backfield there with Chaim James uses a lead blocker, or shall I say misdirection, as wait a minute,
like
we've got the Ravens pointing to the other side here. Gates might have fumbled. It looked clean here, but we're seeing a first down for the Rhinos, but there were a lot of purple arms going up there, and that looks...
I think it was pretty close to call.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised there. They're going to say knee was down. He was down before losing the football. In any case, the Rhinos aren't going to waste any time for anyone to think about it, and they give it straight back to the same man, and he's met with a very hard bird down shoulder. Bradley Ebden it belonged to.
I like that. Really good. That's what you want to see. You want to see someone, you want to see a bulldozer go up against a bulldozer, and you want to let the best man win, basically.
Well, 2 very different body types there in Gates and Ebden. Ebden taller and leaner, Gates a little more stockier there, so for Ebden to win that battle, he has to get real low and really win the leverage battle there, and he did so perfectly.
He must be well coached. So,
former Sunshine Coast Spartan came to bird down, stayed at bird down. Winner over the middle, intercepted by that man. Ebden going down the right-hand sideline, looking for blockers, and will take it out of bounds. And he's gifted his Ravens with an opportunity to grab the lead back there, and as if his ears were burning.
And I think we've seen it a few times already. I just don't think Winner is confident or decisive right now in any of these pass plays. The deep shots, yeah, the good matchups, they're one-on-one, but that's throwing through linebackers, a quick slant, which should be an easy-ish read, okay? So the linebackers just sitting there and he's throwing it straight to him.
He's a hard man to miss as well. He's a big ginger beard, and he's all 6'2" of them at least.
Be interested to see what Booker's thoughts are in the next offensive series.
That it will be. This time they go short to Holiday Miller, who bobbles it. That's a backward pass.
That was backwards.
Wow. I thought the Rhinos... Yeah, I feel almost certain that was backwards. We'll see if we get a replay of that. See if we can get a replay of that.
The motion Holiday Miller took on that, he was already a good 5 yards behind Stegman. Stegman's got a very quick release as well. So when he's released it, it did look like Holiday Miller was behind. So
didn't get a look at that, unfortunately. 2nd down and 10. I think we're both personally believe the Ravens are lucky to get away with that one. Stegman intercepted, back-to-back interceptions. This young man's been having a fantastic young afternoon. It's a Hearn, and he'll race Holiday Miller, and Holiday Miller will eventually get him down. And now the Rhino sideline want an unnecessary roughness penalty. Won't get it, but what a great play by the safety.
Great play. So it just looked like Bessie, if we get a replay of the passing concept, just like Bessie ran a stop route on the outside, delivery's a little bit late. So Bessie's ready for the ball as soon as he turns around. Before he even turns around, he's ready for the ball.
Yeah, that ball probably needed to be thrown a half second earlier.
Yeah, it just had to be a little earlier. So
Anthony Hurd, he was one of the key players for the junior division for the Rhinos. Last year played quarterback in the junior division. One of those players, again, who's doing the hard ask of playing Colts and seniors, and has graduated straight to the men's division. And right when the Ravens looked like they'd picked up a momentum, and we're going to turn this into a lead of their own, the Rhinos defense answered the call. Anthony Hearn. God, isn't he having a good afternoon?
He's playing great. He's playing great. It looks like number 15 tacked on to the end of that. Darius Holiday.
So it looks like he has been.
Miller with the late tackle.
And just think about the plays he's made this afternoon. Hearn, he made the touchdown saving bat down against when he was covering Warwick Russell, has made quite a few tackles.
Yep.
And that time making a field position.
He's got a great break on him. He's just so quick and so down to a point, almost a coin. That's how quick it is. It's a bang bang.
And
Zach Gates just off to the right hand side. If you're Booker, or if I was an offensive coordinator in this situation, I'd be running until the cows come home, basically. Just haven't seen enough in the passing game. I'm not even sure when the last completion was for the Rhinos. I don't think they have one this half.
He's been a little bit. I want to go look back to Cheyenne James' direction. He was delivering the goods in the first half. That's exactly where they go, and it's too far.
Yep.
Sails about 3 yards out of bounds.
Good concept. Play action, and then you get Cheyenne James working to the outside. It looked like it was just a fade. He worked his DB back in, trying to give himself a little bit of space on the sideline. And the ball, I think the winds just pushed it to the outside there. Third and about 4. Back to Gates, to the right-hand side, going forward. Good leg movement. I think he's got this. Yeah, he's got it. Pretty easy.
It's been a bit of a rocks and diamonds for the Ravens in this second half. They started off their first possession with a turnover and downs, followed by an intercept, followed by a touchdown and another intercept.
Yeah.
So need to try to sort of even out the boat a little bit there between the peaks and valleys.
Yeah, but a big difference between the highs and the lows for the Ravens right now. They just need to balance it out and find that mid-ground.
And they'll go back to Gates. No, Gwinner will keep it, and that's something that's had mixed results this afternoon for him this afternoon. These keepers, the Gwinner.
Yep.
Anytime it has worked, he's certainly had to work hard for it.
So you leave the defensive end unblocked in that situation. He's still worked up on the inside of that defensive end. So we're not exactly privy to all the information of how they run their plays, but I thought he'd be going to the outside of the defensive end there.
And that will see the end of the third quarter, an exciting third quarter. We saw the Ravens level up the score. The Ravens are only team to score here in the third quarter. It gives us a 14-14 ball game heading into the fourth. This game proving to be everything it was built up to be.
Definitely. Can't wait to see this fourth quarter. I think there's still a lot of room to play with for both teams in terms of play calling. Right now, I think number one, Rhinos need to score, or the Ravens need to stop the Rhinos scoring.
Call it now, Jonesy. Is this game going to come down to the final possession?
Well, I think it's going to come down to this possession.
This possession, this. Yeah.
If the Ravens stop them right now, I'll back them.
Yeah, no, I think
if they're on
a fair call.
Sportsbet, I think I'll chuck a few dollars on.
You'd be taking them on now. I think that's a pretty easy to think. I think both of these teams comfortably play from the front a little better.
Yeah.
That being said, in all the close games the Ravens have had this season, they've been on the losing end of it. 47-40 back in round 4 against the Rhinos, 21-20 against the Stingrays a week later. So they've got a bit of a a point to prove to themselves right now that they can close out and win these tough games.
Yeah, exactly. And when they get to playoffs, they're going to need to be able to finish games, or start games and then finish games.
Give themselves a reason to believe they can win the close games come playoffs.
Exactly.
Start of the fourth. Rhinos knocking on the door. Followed by a huge intercept there by Anthony Hearn. Pass over the middle. Chiam James was looking for touchdown number 3. Instead finds his second drop of the afternoon.
Good play call as well, because they have run out of that formation a few times and worked Chiam James a few different directions. So it's just play action, get Chiam James to the flat. Ideally, he catches the ball, gets a few yards. So third and goal, actually. Big play here for both teams.
So huge pair of plays upcoming here, no doubt. Well, actually, the Rhinos, maybe they'll kick the field goal to take the lead here, but I also wouldn't doubt them going another play. This hits his receiver in the face quite literally, almost to the detriment of the play, and I think we're seeing a PI on the play.
Let's have a look at it.
I think actually, was it a no call on that play, was it?
A little bit of face mask action.
I can't see any flags. No, they checked that flag on the field there, so looks like Dan O'Day might be pinned here.
If it's not a face mask, I think it's a bad call. If it is a face mask, potentially it's tough to see on that
If it's not a face mask, is it a pass interference?
Yeah.
So
if it is a pass interference, I don't think it's a good call.
Take a look at this while they're making the call. I'll keep an eye out on the official. This is for you at home. Certainly looks, if nothing else, it's a PI. I can't see the hands on the face, but I can actually see the way his head flings back there on slow-mo.
Twists around a little bit. What, defensive holding, was it? Or face mask?
In any case, it should go against the Ravens. That's the case. Fresh set of downs. Back to live action with a first down here for the Rhinos. The Ravens have made this as easy as they can for the Rhinos here to take the lead here in the top of the fourth.
This looks like man coverage, sending a blitz. It's going to be one-on-one matchups.
And they'll send it. The blitz isn't effective, but so is the run by Gates, but he does get them that little bit closer. Talking about 2 yards now opposed to 4.
I don't mind it. I think put pressure on, because this is going to be pivotal for the rest of the game, considering how close it is. Let your defensive backs win their matchups, send the blitz, try get Gwynner to make a mistake if he passes the ball.
Through 2 touchdowns. It's Chiam James in the first half. They go back here, and it's another stop behind the line of scrimmage for the Ravens. Good work there by Tristan Ellis.
Really great job. I think Capewell worked off real quick off the edge there too, as an unblocked defensive end.
I've just seen the play before, I think. As we come back to a live picture. Gates and Gwynner conferring their pre-play. A lot of meat on that line right now. Might have been a false start. We'll roll with it. Gwynner evades the first blitzer. Looking downfield, has to throw this away.
Yeah.
That's another win for the Ravens defense.
Massive. Massive for the Ravens. The ball came early, which is that's the second or third time I think that's happened in this game. So I'm not sure if the wind is blowing around in the helmets, disrupting the cadence. But if that's that's the case, you got to work through that. If it's a silent count or clapping the hands, making it more audible.
Yeah, that's part of the thing as well. If you are going to a silent count, you've got to make your calls and then you've got to live with them.
Yep.
In motion now is James, and they'll go to the keeper. They scored against the Ravens here back in week 4, and that they do again here in week 11. Gwynner adding a rushing touchdown to his stats for the day.
Good play call. You get the motion, you get the defense back to the other side. If you double team and a hook block in there, I think I saw. And then you just trust Gwynner to get the job done. So right now that's great result for the Rhinos, and I think really critical drive coming up here for the Ravens in terms of returning serve.
And this kick is
kick
up
is
and good. Looked awkward, but effective nonetheless. And now the officials will confer about something.
Got a offsides on the defense, which is declined.
Of course.
Hey, mate.
And you see the Rhinos, well, you made the call. Whoever gets up on that next goal line stand, Sammy Harkness on the screen there, one of the assistant coaches for the Rhinos. You said whoever got up in that goal line visit would go on to lead the game. Is that a call you're standing by?
I think so. I think there's a lot of work here for the Ravens to do. They're going to need a big play. I think this drive right now is whether they show us if they're going to go for this game or not.
Well, keep in mind they will have the wind behind them, if that helps. And by the wind, I don't know if we're just being a little naive here in the booth, but it looks like it's calmed down just a wee bit. We're going to get a look there. Nope, take that back. Wind's still blowing strong. We're just in a good position.
These flags are almost ready to blow away.
What it does mean that it was blowing across field for a period at the start of the game. Now it definitely looks like it's going up and down the field, left to right on your screens.
Yep.
So what I thought was actually in favor of the Ravens has actually switched on us here, and now it's blowing in the face of the Rhinos. In the face of the Ravens.
Difficult conditions. This is, as an offensive coordinator, you need your best players. You need to be calm, patient, just work your way through it. You don't need to rush. There's still heaps of time left in this game.
Newport intentionally keeps this behind here, and this is that patented return, but it doesn't quite go the way that it usually goes for the Ravens. Nonetheless, not a bad return. That gets them all the way back to the 40, I think.
Always scares me when they do that. I don't know what the hit and miss rate is on that for the Ravens, if it's 50-50. I just remember the semi-finals last year where it cost them the game, basically.
Yeah, it did against the Thunder, where they desperately tried to push it back. Shelvin Takave-Chan getting up with a bit of discomfort. But at the same time, I think of the game that was broadcasted at your home ground at the Wildcats at one point.
They got a few.
They got a couple, so...
It would be interesting to know if it's they're scoring more than...
They go straight back to passing here. Stegman gets it to force set, who grabs looks like a first down to me, but he could have been marked just short. First down is being marked. So,
signal?
Well, that was the next story I was going to tell about. Stegman's thrown a couple picks so far today, 2 in the second half, one of which was a huge one on their last possession. Experienced quarterback that Stegman in. What's going through his head right now?
Right now, I think it's just going to be short, sharp, precision throws, which he's just shown us on that pass right there, mixed in with the read option. That's it.
First down and 10. They'll go to Holiday. No, it's a good fake. It's kept there by Stegman, who's possibly picked up another first down. Yes, he has. Back-to-back first downs, courtesy of Jared Stegman.
So you leave the defensive end unblocked, let Stegman have a bit of fun on the outside. I think that's going to be what gets the Ravens over the line here. If they just stick to what they've been doing, short, sharp, precision stuff. I actually haven't, as discussed before, we haven't seen many crossing routes, inside breaking routes from the Ravens at all.
Holiday Miller's found a gap and he's gone. He's got plenty of space ahead of him, but he's quickly eating up those yards. And he's gotten all the way to the end zone, in fact. Lost more bearings on their screen, but he finished off that run with a gusto.
Love it. I love this. Boom, straight over the top.
Now, I've got to ask you, Cheyenne James waited for him there, literally on the goal line. You've got a back with a full head of steam. Should he have tried to push up a little more?
Oh, it feels me. I've just dived at the ground and tried speed bumping. Because, you're in a bad position already. Perfect result for the Ravens. Very quick. So still a bit of time on the clock, I reckon. Just make sure they kick this PAT.
Kick is up and shaky, but good enough to convert. Scores are leveled once more, and that's a huge play there from their key playmaker, Darius Holiday Miller.
That's exactly what you need to see. The whole team, not just the guys out there, but all the fans and stuff. You want to see a team fight through. They let in the touchdown just then. They go down and score again.
Especially on the back of a turnover as well.
Exactly. I think this is a really good show from the Ravens. So I don't know if I did chuck money on this on sports bet. I'd probably be trying to cash out real quick.
Well, that's funny. I'll just keep getting you to paint this narrative for me, mate. You said whoever won that goal line stand, it was the Rhinos would go to win. Then you said if the Ravens were to erase that, they'd need to score on that drive. That they did. What's the next part of the story, mate? What's the next chapter?
Rhinos go down and score. Ravens go back down and score. So back to the very original question, will this come down to the last drive of the game? Probably right now I'm thinking yes.
Looking more and more to be the case.
I think so. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's a field goal. That separates this game. Messi lining up.
And as we see this kick off, got some
curl up.
And this could go out of bounds, and that it does. So they'll get friendly amount of yardage here. The Rhinos, just a statistician / cameraman / producer / just general awesomeness, and Paul Mills is feeding us a bit of information here. A fun fact, if you will. That's the first touchdown scored into the non-favourable wind side of the field. Into the left side, if you will. And that is true. A couple of almost touchdowns. Newport got down deep and whatnot, but all the touchdowns have been scored to the shady side of the field.
Great start.
Until then.
Really good start. See, Rhinos, we'll see what they do on this offensive series if this is stick to what they've been doing, which is a lot of let Gates do a lot of the work. We haven't seen any deep shots for quite a while from them, so
that is true.
It wouldn't surprise me if they play action, take a shot deep. It's one of the outside receivers.
And a play action pass over the middle. It is Newport. That's
quick.
the play they threw the pick on last time, and Newport grabs plenty of yards on that slant. Obviously made some corrections. That looks to me like a pretty similar play that they ran where they threw the pick.
Quick slant. Two quick slants actually from Newport and Chime James. Really liking Newport though. He's very quick off the mark. He knows how to get forwards as well. He's not dancing left and right. He gets his foot on the ground, turns it up.
He's been doing it for a long time through the UK comps. And now he's come down south, and it's a sack here, or a would-be sack, and eventually will be a sack. As careful as they come nowadays, Adenil Thompson finally finding his prey.
Very considerate of Adenil Thompson. It looks like he's almost like halfway stopped and then almost got to finish it, but nothing worse than a flag on a perfect play, basically.
I think that's literally the best way to sack a quarterback nowadays.
Yeah, basically, which is scary. I don't. That's a bad thing for the game, in my opinion.
Both ends of the spectrum will win that time for the Ravens. This time they go back to Cheyenne James, who can't escape the grasp of Dan O'Day. That's been a battle that's been going on all day, dare I say it. That's one of the few wins for Dan O'Day on that play.
Interesting, though. The O-line all looked like they were heading to the right-hand side. They went back to the left-hand side with Cheyenne James. So must have been a double screen somewhere along there. And Brandon Gwynedd thinks Cheyenne James is in a good matchup.
Quick play here, third down and long. Gwynedd deep drop, looking over the middle for Kent. And Kent juggles it. And I thought grabbed it. I'm seeing everyone say incomplete, including the officials. Oh, we're going to have to see a replay of that because I thought he had that.
Well, I thought he had a great effort to even get to that point. Gwynedd off the back foot.
And we've seen it in slow-mo now. It's clearly bobbled on the first attempt, but as he's coming down to the ground, does he use the ground to assist it? We lose vision. There's the drop there. Good call by the officials.
Great call by the officials.
As we'll come back to live picture now, so almost an acrobatic catch there, and fourth down, they're going for it. They're going for Shanks, and this is denied. And it's a turnover on downs. Deep pass attempted to Calder Shanks, and the Ravens at defense again presents their offense with an opportunity to take control of this game.
Massive play.
He talked about, again, the wind playing havoc with his game. That ball,
it obviously look like it was floating out to the side.
Yeah, floated out the back of the ball. dipping on that particular rollout pass.
Interesting. Like right now, you've got to be thinking the Ravens. The momentum's kind of shifted in this game a bit. It just from the outside looking in, looks like they're feeling pretty hot right now.
Well, will they feed the hot hand and give it straight back to Darius Holiday-Miller? Midway through the fourth quarter, they give it back to that man. He skips past one defender, but the rest of the troops quickly there to take him down.
Straight in there.
I'll tell you one man, it almost feels like they're avoiding right now. It's Ernest Moore, who is a true definition of a sideline defender.
Always love playing against him. He's always a good yarn, good chat. But you're 100% right. He's just got such good mobility all the way forwards, backwards, left, right. He's always there.
We'll be up there with probably the biggest hitter on this team as well.
Yeah.
Second down, they've got about 8 yards to make up here to convert. Drop, he has to pull it back. Stegman being pursued. Does he know about it? Does he know about it? Gets rid of it. Is that going to be an intentional grounding?
That's intentional grounding.
There was not a receiver in sight.
Someone's thrown a flag.
It certainly got it back to the line of scrimmage. Now a flag's being thrown, but whether that's for intentional grounding is another story. They could have just thrown it. They'll talk about it, and they can always pick it up if necessary. There is...
My understanding of the rule is that you need to get outside of the hash marks, and then the ball needs to go out of bounds past the line of scrimmage. So...
Well, I'm not sure if it's out of bounds, but I certainly know it has to get past the line of scrimmage. I'll back your knowledge over mine.
Okay.
And
so
they're going to wave it off.
Yep.
So clearly, maybe it's just, and maybe we'll get someone to clarify for us here, but perhaps you just need to get it past the line of scrimmage. The only alternative to that is if you've got a receiver within the area, which that certainly wasn't the case there, but he certainly got the ball past the line of scrimmage. That is the interpretation, the best interpretation we've got as of now. Third down and long here for the Ravens, escaping a penalty and a loss of down. Quick drop from Stegman. Rolling out to his left, throws. He's got one-on-one with Bessie and strong hands there by Mitchell Bessie.
Great catch, Mitchell Bess. Stegman does a great job, works his way up into the pocket, out to the left, puts it up there. It's a one-on-one matchup, and you're just letting your man win. As a quarterback, that's a good matchup, one-on-one, and you have to trust that your receiver's going to win that matchup.
Stegman did a wonderful job buying time there, keeping his eyes downfield, didn't he?
Yeah, great job. And that's a really tough catch as well to make. It's definitely can't undercredit Bessie
getting up
pulling
there,
that
pointing that ball. On the move, the Ravens. First down. They'll give to Holiday-Miller. He's met immediately, and we'll just have to eat this play. Big play by the Rhinos defense there. That time, I think it was Ernest Moore taking him down behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know if we'll get another look of the previous play there, the Bessie catch. Let's get another look. No, just the back end of the play. That's all good, but yeah, a wonderful catch there from Mitchell Bessie to help move the chains. He's developed quite the reputation for making those downfield catches. All the way back to, 2012, I think it might have been, when he debuted for the Logan City Bears, or the Browns Plain Bears, as they were new back.
Long time ago.
And still catching for the same man, Jared Stegman. That tackle for a loss behind them, and we'll see a late substitution here. Terry O'Neill coming onto the field. Rhinos apparently didn't have enough players on the field. Stegman drops back 5 steps, and it's a catch there. And now to try and nullify Jared Stegman, they've put Cheyenne James on him.
They try to isolate Bessie, but you got to understand he's going up against the best cornerback on the Rhinos team, in my opinion. So 50-50.
Yeah, they might have to look back to the other side of the field now. He's the type of corner that can shut down one side of the field. Cheyenne James, even against a receiver as quality as Mitchell Bessie.
He's an athlete, definitely an athlete. Well deserved. I mean, he's played overseas a few times as well.
Yep, Rostock Griffins, I'll try to pronounce correctly eventually, was his most recent venture as this pass is downfield and in the direction of Holiday-Miller, but well short, had to throw off his back foot there. Did Stegman, and that was 4th down, I believe, or was that 4th down
what
now?
That play was. It looked like Stegman was. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen.
4th down now.
Sending out the
And well, Nash has run out into the field, so looks like they will punt this away.
I think in this situation, you got to go. Well, I don't
Do
know.
ya?
Do
Yeah.
they?
It feels like all bets might be off here. It's hard
Could
to
be
get
a fake coming up here.
Very well could be. And let's see how nervous Nash looked like he was jumping on the field. Right now, fakes wouldn't feel all that surprising. It's a bit of a pooch punt. This is actually perfect for what Nash has been producing today, those little vertical pooches. And this time it'll force the Rhinos to travel, as soon as we see the initial markings,
Good punt
close to 80
coverage
yards.
as well.
Ball has been marked at the 10, 90-yard fields here. So, yeah, 80 yards will be the task here for the Rhinos to try and grab the touchdown. Failing that, a field goal to grab the lead as we head towards the final minutes.
Well, we'd be in the
this
back
game.
end of the fourth quarter here. A few big drives so far. Long way to go. See what they do here. So 3-by-1. CJ on the left-hand side of the screen. Looks like it might be doubled as well. Chris Clark having an eye over the top.
Now he's in motion. They'll use motion and try to get him free. Gwinner keeps it. Now he's found a block, and eventually Chris Clark, who's playing safety on that side of the field, takes him down.
Nice. So when you motion that play across, you're trying to bring O'Day across, but he stays there. Must be some sort of zone defense. Chris Clark comes flying up, gets a good shoulder in there. So good result for the Ravens. Second and about 6.
And 4 down linemen for the Ravens. D-line having a tougher game this week. Winner under pressure. Now will just turn into a runner of the football and taken down at the line of scrimmage. It might have stopped the sack, but certainly didn't add a whole lot of yardage. 3rd down.
Interesting. It goes out to the right-hand side and then he almost tries cutting back. So probably the worst thing you can do in that situation.
Fantastic job done by the Ravens D-line on that particular play. 3rd down and 6.
Screen coming up, I reckon.
Oh, it has been a money play for him. You could be on the money here. Gates in the backfield with Gwinner. Newport goes deep. They go over short and over the middle to Cheyenne James, who can't check the tackle of Shelvin Shand.
Good play, Shelvin Shand.
And I don't know if he was on a bit of a zone blitz there or not, or if he just reacted to the play. But a great stop by Takave Chand on that last play.
Well, we haven't really seen any of those short crossing routes from the outside receivers of the Rhinos, so good play call, something the Ravens haven't seen. For Sheldon Chan to be back there, really great play to keep the Ravens in this game, basically. This is a great result for the Ravens, so...
Huge stop there by the Ravens defense. Both of these defense starting to turn up now towards the back end of this game. Will defense dictate this? I thought we might have seen another fake there again, but it's a huge punt here from Newport. But it's fielded perfectly and then imperfectly by Warwick Russell. And for those who might be confused there, it is you do not need to have an opposition hand to be tackled in this league the moment any part of your body.
You see Warwick Russell, his foot's in that mud, basically, that little mud patch. So the field is pretty good. There are a few little patchy bits.
Fortunately, you rolled up on the one sandy place on Kitchener Park. And yeah, as I was just to finish my last thought, you are. A ball carrier is considered tackled anytime any part of the body other than the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet touch the turf. And Warwick Russell knew it immediately as soon as he slipped on that little boss play. Otherwise, who knows what could happen there? He had a bit of space.
It looked like he had a good 20 yards before anyone else was...
Newport might have actually outkicked his coverage.
It looked like a false start.
Here, and I think you might be correct here. Mitch Bessie currently been accused of a false start here by Cheyenne James.
Might have been Liam Edwards.
Liam
Just going to
Edwards,
take
my
a stab at
apologies.
it. There was a few people.
It might have been 17, I think, based on the lip reading there. So I think you're right. You're right there, Liam Edwards.
I think there was a few, but
He's the one
17 was the noticeable one.
wearing the weight of it here.
Yeah.
And straight back to it. Nope. Early whistle. What's going wrong here?
They've gone early, so you do need to wait for the referee to blow in the play.
You're right. Hadn't been. Oh yeah, probably at best was begun
Yeah.
through the whistle.
Very
there.
close there.
Of course, they would bring this back. I remember a Wildcats game against the Ravens in the playoffs where the Ravens may or may not have gone a little early here, and it was actually in the NCAA news that week regarding when a player's live, but
Cruel memories.
I digress. And speed option here. Footwork shown by Stegman. Stegman dragged
Nice.
forward there by Akeem Allen, and tempers are starting to flare here between the big man.
I like it. Stagman does a great job, cuts up, still got the burst. Rhinos are going for the strip.
Akeem Allen had to be
He looked
pulled back
fired
there.
up there, didn't he?
He was
Who
trying to
that?
strip that ball. It was the import Allen.
Allen.
He forced a fumble back in week 4, which turned the tide for the Rhinos. Second down and 1 here, a money play for a lot of offenses. Now they've taken too long to run the play. Or shall I say, well, I'm not sure actually. A false start from Bailey, I imagine.
Like a false start to me, just on the left-hand side of it.
Yep. Well and truly.
That could come down to a lot of things. Again, the wind. It could come down to fatigue. This has been looks like it's been a big battle out there in the trenches. A lot of big boys out there. So it was quite a hot day.
It has been. Certainly cooled down now. It was a beautiful day for football though, sitting around the 23 degrees throughout most of the games here at Kitchener this afternoon. Now it's cooled down to probably about 20. And that wind still pumping out there in Kitchener Park. Stegman now had a 2nd and 1, now he has a 2nd and 6. He drops back looking for a pass, looking over the middle. He's got Warwick Russell open, but that ball sailed.
That's
incomplete. I thought he caught it. I wasn't sure. The David Hodgkinson, the sideline official there, is saying that he was juggling.
It was a wobbly one.
And we'll see on slow-mo here. I'm not sure. Well, there's 2 feet inbounds there, but obviously official Hodgkinson saying that he didn't have possession at that point. So
Really tough to tell on that angle. You just got to trust the official.
he was very confident in his call there, Dave Hodgkinson, and he had the call immediately. Wasn't umming and ahhing about it. And that will be called incomplete, much to the despair of the Ravens sideline. 3rd down and 6. Another pass play. Akeem Allen's broken through, and they'll get a sack. Courtesy of Stegman. Slipping over, and on top of that,
That's a tough.
Is that against the Rhinos?
That is a.
Or is that against Stegman for a bit of dissent? Are they going to say roughing the passer on that?
I hope not. That will be.
The big man's clearly losing his footing there and tried to avoid him. Judging by Sam Matautia trying to argue their case there, this is going against the Rhinos.
That is shocking.
And look, I try to stay as balanced as I can, especially in favour of the referees, but...
Because having a chat, if you're a coach, you should be having as big a chat as you need to, because this could change the game. 15 yards, fresh set of downs.
I mean, if anything, I'd almost say that Akeem Allen's trying to avoid Stegman on the ground there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That is, if they don't pick up this flag...
And to the point where I thought, I assumed that the flag might have been Stegman having to go at the white hat here. It's going to go roughing the passer against Akeem Allen.
Bad call. Some of the fans are going off here, as you do.
We'll get a look at it one more time here. Wow.
I'm stunned. I'm actually stunned.
I've got no more words to describe that, but it will go in the favour of Birdtown.
Been playing for 15 years, seen some really bad calls. That's got to be pretty close, I reckon, to one of the top ones.
Well, moving on now, first down and 10. And we're going to see another stoppage in play. What's going on here?
There we go. More pointing and shouting.
Confirming that everyone's in place. Maybe the down counter's out. In any case, first down and 10. Ravens with an opportunity here. Broken tackle there and up down the... Oh, he's still on his feet, still going downfield, still in bounds. And that's a huge play there for Nigel Fawcett, who might be down with cramp or an ankle injury.
That's about the third time, I think, from my own count that they've run that play. Easy read for Stegman. You get your playmaker to the sideline, space, let him do the rest. So this is great field position.
First down and 10. Stegman, drop, clean pocket, delivers the ball to the sideline, and Mitchell Bessie picks up that catch. And now working down their field with confidence. The Ravens
Fawcett coming in the sideline.
We don't have the time here, and Fawcett might be succumbing to that ankle injury now. Maybe it's a Achilles, but he certainly doesn't look comfortable. First down and 10, ball now at the just outside the 20, looking at the... Oh no, sorry, inside the 20, looking at the 17.
Mitch Bessie, good matchup, press coverage on the bottom left hand of the screen.
He'll break to the outside, but they'll give it to Holiday Miller. He'll try to sneak past a couple defenders. That's not aiding the runner. I haven't seen it. And that is a touchdown to Holiday Miller with the unofficial assist going into Carlos Texanapati.
He's basically carried him. You're not allowed to pull, firstly, so that is a flag. That's my interpretation of the rule.
And look...
So you're allowed to get in there and push behind.
But you're not allowed to physically pull. We've seen it. We're calling it. We're not going to pretend like it didn't happen. And the officials, surely that's what they're discussing. Sam Matauti is there, is trying to argue that case as well. I don't actually see any flags on the field here, but...
see done. So I think there's going to be a big... you need a...
We're going to see it on replay here, and dare I say it, my director's going to hope that isn't the case, but... That is one of the clearest aiding the runner penalties I have ever seen. Not that you see that penalty called at any level of football nowadays. You see it in the NCAA all the time, but the on-field call is touchdown.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they need a lot to pull the flag out late.
And the flag is coming, and I'm guessing this will be aiding the runner. I will go ahead and take that 6 points off now.
Yeah, I don't think any of them should be surprised.
Yep. Assisting the runner is the call, and I think common sense has reared his head on that particular play. I think looking back at the field, anyone from the Ravens might have felt dirty claiming that touchdown there.
I'm very happy they got that one right. I'd hate to see this game remembered for a personal foul on
it might still be
the passer. It still might be. Hopefully not.
I think Coach Booker might have had an aneurysm.
Yeah.
If that call stood.
There would have been blow-ups. So it looks like Andy Miller.
Who is the newly appointed Colts head coach, so he is obviously been added to the men's coaching staff, probably as an official presence on the sideline with Holiday Miller. Now moving, and I'll tell you what, if there's something Coach Andy Miller's good at, it's knowing the rules.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what he's arguing here, but I tell you what, he's one of the best official debaters there is in this league as it stands right now. As we're welcome back to the Ravens after a stint with Logan City to take over that Colts program. Dare I say it, I don't know what case he has in this particular situation. He'll argue to the cows come home with me, though.
Love it.
So, 21-21, the Ravens move back, still first down. They'll give back to Holiday Miller, who finds a gap in the middle. He might not need aiding the runner on this play. All that is moot. He does it clean of any penalties this time. And that time he looks at the officials and says, "Is that okay? If you don't mind, I'd like to add 6 points to the board."
Good blocking, really good blocking. And it just makes it look easier for Darius Holiday Miller. He just stays on his same path. Poor pursuit angle from the safety. And that might do it. You know, this is it's been flipped. Now the Rhinos are they're going to have to be resilient. They're going to have to go down there, score some points basically. So next drive is going to be critical for the Rhinos.
It's Holiday Miller's third touchdown of the afternoon, all in the second half. This will be huge if it was missed, and it has been, just to add to the drama. Now the Rhinos, if they can march their way down for a touchdown, can win the game with a simple PAT, if there ever is such words. But speaking about words, very few I can use to describe the beauty of that touchdown. Seeing some of the sideline fans for the Ravens getting excited here.
Getting revved up, a few beers flowing down Kitchener Park.
I dare to say, I have the biggest feeling that Miss PAT is going to be the possible decider of this afternoon. We don't have a time check, unfortunately, and I'm sure someone might be nice enough to get that to us, but there can't be too many minutes left on the clock here. The Rhinos might just have the one possession.
A bad way to, again, special teams can lose your games. So had to sink that kick, which he's done for the rest of the game.
This kick is up, and it'll actually be returnable, holding up in this wind. Fielded on the full. Now is that Shanks looking for a bit of space, and he is clocked by Clark.
Chris Clark.
I thought for a second. And
first one down there. Works his way in from the outside. Whoa, that's some good contact.
And Shanks dangerous in the open field. I might see if that time can come through to me once more. I think 1:32. 1 minute left, 60 seconds left on the clock, less whatever it took for that kick return. So there is even less time than I thought there would be left in this game. This is literally a minute to win it situation for the Rhinos.
Someone late to the field? Or someone...
I might have been getting the tee off the field, I think, actually.
Okay.
Want to see it?
I wonder what the playoff implications are if Ravens go through and win this one.
And from my understanding, it almost seems like most is locked up with obviously yourself and the Bears, possibly
Battling
the only
for fourth.
situation here. And this is a short pass to Gates. He's got plenty of room to move, gets it out of bounds. That took no more than 6 seconds by my count.
Yep. He's been wide open in that flat all day long, so the Ravens must be overcompensating another area of the defense. They must be, as a defense coordinator, you're saying, yep, we're happy to give you that, but we're not going to let you have the deep shots down the field.
If they continue with that sort of success, they continue to do that 4 more times, and then they're in striking distance. Don't know how many timeouts the Rhinos have left, but it's less than 3, I'll tell you that. And Jack Capewell might have just sealed this game! This game will be decided by this defense. Adonil Thompson running it in for the game-winning touchdown! The question has been answered. The Ravens have defended home turf here, getting a defensive touchdown to close out this game against the undefeated Rhinos, who just might be suffering their first loss of 2019.
Massive play. Massive. So good.
Jack Capewell.
Capewell coming off the left edge, forced Gwinner, and then Gwinner's tried to get rid of the ball. See if we can get the replay up a little earlier. Thompson's had a cracker game, hasn't he?
And we'll see it all in reverse, because why not?
Capewell looking happy. I don't know, Thompson knows he's just pulled off a massive play, probably sealed the game here.
And I was about to say, wasn't sure if that was going to be considered a pass or a fumble, and the BAT is happening in live action, but we'll continue. We'll keep our eyes on the replay here, and that PAT is successful. But you just talk it through, Jonesy.
Adonil Thompson in the right place at the right time. you'd see Capewell coming off the left edge, but they've kicked the field goal.
Just got great news that I'm going to open myself a curtain, but that's beside the point. But geez, taking the pressure.
Yeah, I think this right now it's just a matter of finishing this game as quick as you can. Lock in for playoffs, basically. I haven't really looked at the schedule next week, but
allow me looking towards to next week following this game. The Brisbane Rhinos, they'll be taking on the Logan City Bears, and then the Ravens, they'll have a date with the Gold Coast Stingrays. A tough way to finish off their regular season because they will enjoy the bye in round 13 ahead of the playoffs. So this will be huge momentum going against the other team that's handed them a loss this season, and they'll put them in good stead if they can come away with wins against team number 1 and number 2 in the division ahead of the playoffs.
Big game, big game.
And this is again returnable. This is time Chiam James, who has got a couple against the Ravens, returning the football against this club, and he'll be taken down just before halfway. Certainly threatened the chance here. It's still not completely over though.
28
Rhinos
on the outside here. You got to stay on the outside there. He just gets caught up in the middle. Number one responsibility, keep Chiam James in the middle of the field. That's where all your help is. Great return though, right? You can never count the Rhinos out of it. We'd be well under a minute now, I'm assuming. So
13 points.
Take a miracle.
I'm a little surprised they didn't go for the 2, just to sort of give them the 14-point buffer because in case of a miracle. But alas, 13 is the buffer, and general wisdom would suggest that would be enough. But are we about to witness an absolute miracle? Well, that's in the hands of the Rhinos. Flag has been waved off. There was one thrown on that kickoff all the way back at the 20.
Well, we haven't seen Gwyneth hit any passes over 20 yards, so we got a lot. He's got to go down there, take a few shots. They did some really fast play calls.
34-21.
So
right now,
3 by
Rhinos going to throw it up and hope for the best. Winner under pressure, throws the screen to Newport. Newport has got some blockers in front of him, and now he's got some space. Don't tell me. Can he cut it back behind Oswin? He tries, but then gets tackled, more importantly, in bounds. I don't know how many timeouts the Rhinos have left.
So you need to go hurry up. The clock stops until...
Well, they clearly had at least one.
Okay.
I thought there he was going to cut it back behind Oswin there. And
Oswin to get down there. I love that. Love to see the big boys down there moving.
He's an elite tackle. Built like a brick outhouse.
Okay. Let's have a little rethink about how they're going to approach this. What are they? They're about just outside of the 10-yard line, probably the 11, I'll call it.
An opportunity here for at least the Rhinos to make it interesting. First down and goal.
It's in a 3 by 1. CJ
Kent and Shanks on the left-hand side. Chiam James one-on-one with O'Day, but he's got double coverage over the top of him. Winner rolling right under pressure. Does he know it? He's turned on the jets, takes it out of bounds, maybe picks up a yard in the process. That he does.
looks like he goes, maybe gets to his second progression, just works his way out, knows he needs to get to the sideline to stop the clock. They need to be, basically they need to score ASAP, so there's no time.
Realistically, the situation would be they score on this play, onside recovery, and then Hail Mary.
Basically.
That is the likely needed outcome.
Confusion on the defense there.
Gwynner, clean pocket, throws underneath. Kent's got some work to do, can't get it done, it's clock.
Sure.
once again saving his team, stops him short, and O'Day finishes him over the top inbounds.
He's run a whip route there, a few yards short of the end zone, I should say. Just wondering why, as a receiver and quarterback, you just adjust to the context. If it needs to be 7 yards, the whip route's 7 yards. You don't do it 5 yards if you need to score right now.
Well, it looks like another timeout was used by the Rhinos, and I think they might have one more. I thought for certain they used one at the start of the half.
Yeah, from memory, yes. So let's say they'd be done now. If they got one more, I don't know where it came from.
I've been wrong before. 34-21. The 6-2 Ravens. Well, I'm just getting corrected there that perhaps they thought they might have called one there when they were correcting the down marker, therefore they got it back.
Right.
The 6-2 Ravens trying to improve the 7-2, and the Brisbane Rhinos trying to pull a miracle here to stay undefeated, but it suggests they might be looking at a 7-1 record.
Jeremy Gates into the flat. I'm going to call it now.
In motion again, underneath, looking for Chiam James. No, it's behind him as Newport, who had it over his head but couldn't hold on to it.
He had a lot of work to do that, didn't he? So he just worked himself into the corner. Gwynner's basically put it right on the corner pylon. Only Newport could really get that. So
great play call.
Great play call.
We had plenty of space. He would have been in bounds had he come down with that.
Fourth
down
those.
Now. This is quite possibly the last play of significance of the game. Lining up once again.
To the left.
3 to the left. As Mike Jones said, Gwynner will try to take it himself, but will meet a wall of purple. Stuffed there by Jack Capewell, his nemesis from a series ago. And that has closed this game out and guaranteed Birdtown the win here in Week 11.
Great job by the defense there. And if you're a defensive play caller, you've seen Gwynner go down and do that.
And that is the end of the game. The Bayside Ravens here in Week 11 have handed the Brisbane Rhinos their first loss of the season in their hunt to stay in the playoff hunt. The Rhinos will still retain the number 1 spot now, but lose the chance of achieving perfection here in 2019. A fantastic game. Halftime, the score was in favour of the Rhinos, 14-7 before 3 Darius Holiday-Miller rushing touchdowns in the second half eventually got them the lead before the defense did the rest of it. Jonesy, we've only got a little bit of time. Give us your outgoing thoughts.
Great matchup. I think playoffs are going to be very interesting. Ravens just showed the whole league that they can be resilient. They can go in there and come from behind and do what they have to do. So keen to see how they go in playoffs as to the Rhinos as well. So. Well,
next week, the Bayside Ravens take on the Gold Coast Stingrays here at home, and the Brisbane Rhinos, they will have the Logan City Bears on their menu. Thanks for joining us for this game. We certainly hope you have your company in the next game, which is already raring to go. It is the women's division. The Griffith University Thunder taking on the Bayside Ravens here, the only team to hand Griffith University a loss this season. We're going to take a short break, jump off the air for a hot second, and be right back with you. Kenny Andres and Mike Jones, live streaming Brisbane.